think they should have then taken wasted the time of this House, Mr. Speaker. But Mr. Speaker, because of time, my submission this evening, Mr. Speaker, is that there could be administrative omissions and commissions. But Mr. Speaker, do they meet the threshold of impeachment, Mr. Speaker? As far as I'm concerned, these are non-impeachable offenses, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, what we have seen throughout these 2 days is hounding of a woman out of office through emotional abuse, through intimidation, through slander, Mr. Speaker, through threats on her life, Mr. Speaker. We have also seen tribal and ethnic profiling, Mr. Speaker, issues that I think NCIC should pick up, Mr. Speaker. And I would want, Mr. Speaker, to advise the governor of Meru that whatever happens to you this evening, there are cases here that you should take to court, Mr. Speaker. This is very scary to aspiring women of this country. Mr. Speaker, I kept asking myself, is this what is awaiting the women governors in this country, Mr. Speaker? Those who will try to get into the political positions that are the domain of men in this country, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would say that what the county has continued to pursue is what the Angolu had mentioned the other time, that the election brought undesired consequences, Mr. Speaker. They must live with their choice, Mr. Speaker. As far as I'm concerned, the Meru people elected Governor KAWIRA MWANGAZA, and the will of the people is supreme, and they must live with their choice for the next 5 years. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Sifuna.
Mr. Speaker, on my first day in this House, I took an oath to protect this Constitution. And I'm sure the people of Meru will appreciate, because they also know about oaths, why I would insist on defending this document on every occasion. Mr. Speaker, under Article 94 of this Constitution, I'm enjoined to be a protector of counties and the interests of their governments. And that is exactly what I'm going to do, whether I know anything about any of your counties, whether I have ever been there, whether I know anyone from there or not, because that is the oath that I took, Mr. Speaker. It has set a very high threshold for the removal of a governor under Article 181 on gross violation of the Constitution and the law, gross misconduct and abuse of office, or where there are serious reasons to believe that the county governor has committed a crime under national or international law. Mr. Speaker, my expectation from the county was to meet a case that demonstrates this particular standard that has been set by the Constitution. Now, there is one telling thing that came from the submissions of counsel, my good friend Thiankolu, that in fact the motivation of the MCAs does not matter. I want to try and persuade this House that motivation is everything. The reason why human beings do things is absolutely critical to the doing of those things. Mr. Speaker, because what motivation does, it sets a goal for you, and then you look for a means to get to that particular goal. We have seen the evidence that has been laid here demonstrate clearly that a decision was made that KAWIRA MWANGAZA had to go as a governor of Meru. And then steps and plans were put in place to be able to meet that particular goal. And that is something that I cannot abide as a senator sworn to protect the interests of counties. Mr. Speaker, I want to speak to two analogies that have, been used quite extensively by the team from the County Assembly. One, Mr. Speaker, is the analogy of the scorpion and the frog. I do not think anyone can ascribe the innocence of the frog in that particular analogy to the County Assembly of Meru. At the very minimum, it is a scorpion being carried by a crocodile on its back, because both animals are extremely dangerous from the evidence that we have seen here. Mr. Speaker, secondly, it is this much repeated song by Shaggy called It Wasn't Me. In fact, in that particular song, Council forgot that there was a collabo. There's another gentleman who's singing in that song as well. That gentleman says, I was caught live. There are photos. There is evidence. That is what we expected from the County Assembly. Of the photos of this gentleman on the counter in the shower, as the council sang, Mr. Speaker, it is difficult for me to get behind the case by the County Assembly. I rest my case.
Senator Keroche.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving this opportunity. And for me, I agree. There's something wrong in Meru. There's something wrong in Meru County, the Moi County. But there's a saying that says, two elephants, when they fight, the grass is the one that suffers. In this case, the grass is the Meru people. So we must ensure that we make the right decision in a very sober manner. Both parties, I can say both parties, their representation was not convincing, both parties. And whatever they brought in here, it is something I believe, as Senator Kavindo has said, could have been solved at the Senate. The two videos at the Meru, at main Meru, the videos that we've seen, they've portrayed Meru men be very sex abusers. But for me, I can bear witness that in Nakuru, we have over 5,000 Meru men, and they respect women. So in that video, please, I ask Kenyans just to know that it's only those Meru men that were in those videos that it's not on the Meru men. I want to take this opportunity. I really want to take this opportunity and advise my sister, Her Excellency Governor KAWIRA. In the world we are living in, women, to rise to the top, it takes a while, or it takes, you work 5 times to reach to the top. But when you reach there, ensure you become a role model, that where women want to become like you. Men want their girls to be like you, but not their wives, because they only admire the power in you, but they don't like the power. So exercise the power that you've been bestowed by the Meru people very responsibly, so that the men can support you and walk with you. I've walked that journey, so I know. So look, going forward, ensure you go and unite the people of Meru. Unite all the leaders of Meru. Because believe me, in case of any...
Senator Ojenda. Senator Ojenda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for according me the opportunity to make a contribution to the debate before the House on the impeachment of Senator Mwangaza under Articles 181 of the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, it is clear that the 7 charges leveled against the governor of Meru have a set threshold that must be established in now settled decisions of the Supreme Court on the impeachment of Governor Sonko, and set by the Court of Appeal on the impeachment of Governor Wambora. Mr. Speaker, sir, I participated in both cases. I've also had the advantage, Mr. Speaker, sir, of participating in the impeachment of the governor of Wajir, Mr. Mohamud, who is successfully returned to office after impeachment. The threshold question, Mr. Speaker, sir, is therefore important, and I just want to address myself to that question. Speaker, sir, the charges included misappropriation and misuse of county resources, nepotism and related unethical practices, bullying, vilification, and demeaning of other leaders, as set out under Article 75, 2 and 3, illegal appointments and usurpation of statutory powers, contempt of court, illegally naming a public road after a husband, and lastly, contempt of the county assembly. It is imperative that the threat set, or that should be set, and as properly defined in the Sonko case, should be above, somewhere above the doubt, and somewhere below below the threshold required for criminal trials. But Mr. Speaker, sir, turn to the effect of impeachments, and this is what should guide this assembly in voting. The effect of an impeachment is to permanently bar an individual from holding any public office. So whatever you do today, you'd be barring Governor Mwangaza from holding any office in the Republic. Is this a fair act that this Senate should sit back and undertake when voting? I think that is the $6 million question. Mr. Speaker, sir, the gender question, and I think this is something, and I don't want to talk about scorpions and crocodiles and frogs, but in my understanding of what is before this Senate, the levels that have been defined.
Is up, Senator Charanke.
Mr. Speaker, sir, one, I want to congratulate members of County Assembly. I predicted in December that we'll go back where we are today during the first impeachment. I want to thank the MCS Speaker. It is their constitutional right. Impeachment is a political process. Mr. Speaker, I'm happy gender is not on trial. It is about the competency, the ability, and discharge of the work of the governor. Mr. Speaker, when you look at the loss of 78 million, Mr. Speaker, the County Assembly has gone beyond and proved that the governor could not account for 78 million. Speaker, that charge has been proved. Number two, Mr. Speaker, on the appointment, I was shocked, Mr. Speaker, under Article 183, Article 65, Article Section 30 and Section 45 of the County Governments Act, Mr. Speaker. You have been a governor. It is very clear that the governor abdicated. And in fact, on the record, the governor said she had delegated her role to County Secretary, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, number three, it goes to the point. Where is the 1.5 Meru people, Mr. Speaker? It cannot be that you don't agree with the MCA, you don't agree with the church, you don't agree with Njurinjeke, you don't agree with elected leaders, 10 or 11 of them, Mr. Speaker. It is not that all others are wrong, Mr. Speaker, until you disfranchise, humiliate, vilify, bully leaders in front of the president. Mr. Speaker, the deputy president and the president on several occasions have tried to reconcile. What is it hard for governor to work with the rest? Because whenever a problem comes, they only come up with a gender guard. And I tell you, there is a saying that is popular that what a man can do, a woman can do more. What has happened? There were insults from the men. But did you see, Mr. Speaker, on record on WhatsApp, the governor herself said to the governor, you will defecate avocado seeds, Mr. Speaker. So which insult is better than the other, Mr. Speaker? We cannot hide, Mr. Speaker. We must lift the veil. For Meru to move forward, we must stand with the MCAs and give them the confidence to ensure oversight, Mr. Speaker. I can assure you, Mr. Speaker, if today Governor KAWIRA MWANGAZA, Mr. Speaker, Meru will heal and will go for the better going into the future. Mr. Speaker, I submit.
Senator Osotsi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, because of the short time, I want to start by saying that from the onset, this Senate agreed that we are going to listen to this case, the merits and demerits of the case, and make a decision. Spend hours here, sitting here, listening to the presentation from the two parties. And I want to say that I'm shocked, Mr. Speaker, as an IT expert in my other life, that the County Assembly presented to this House an extract from IMPEACH. An extract from IMPEACH.
Order, honorable senators. May the senator be heard in silence.
An alleged extract from IMPEACH that is not verified. Mr. Speaker, this House has passed a law called the Computer Misuse and Cybercrime Act 2018. And I participated in processing this bill. Under Section 14, subsection 2, it is very clear that any data from a computer system, especially a computer system that is categorized under Section 9 of the same Act as a critical information infrastructure, that access must be based on a consent. Mr. Speaker, we have been presented with an extract from IMPEACH which has no consent. Yes, they made an attempt to get a consent, but there are other offices which could provide the consent, like the Controller of Budget Office, the Treasury, and even the IMPEACH Directorate itself. They never made that effort. Mr. Speaker, this particular extract was provided by an anonymous person called Salasio. This man has not been brought to this house to testify. This man is not known whether this money exists or not. The house cannot, a house of parliament is a house of record. We cannot be made to sit here for hours listening to submission based on a document that is not verified, a document that is unlawful. Mr. Speaker, this house has to be respected. In addition to that, Mr. Speaker, there were some submissions given as evidence of what's up. And this matter was questioned by Senator Gloria. And the counsel on the other side brushed over the issue. But if you go to another law that was passed by this House called the Data Protection Act, Section 26 of that Act talks about the data subject rights.
Senator Mutinda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, I first want to start appreciating the County Assembly of Meru County for the far they've come from. It's been challenging. It's been evident out there. It's been tough. They've walked a journey. Like any other journey that can walk, every journey has turbulence. Every journey has ups and downs. I note that we have very few women governors. We have only 7. KAWIRA is one of them. Governor KAWIRA, this is the second time that you've been returned to this house. I do not agree in any capacity in regards to the videos that we've seen, especially with some of the Meru leaders who are men. Mr. Speaker, I speak as a married woman, one married from the Meru community. Meru men are respectful. What we've seen is among the few. It is sad. It should not happen. I speak as a mother of a girl child. It is sad. As women, we are very few in this house, only 21. Our positions in this government, they are few. And I want to say and urge, in the event, Madam Governor, you get a chance to go and work for the people of Meru, I challenge you and ask you and request you, bring your house in order. Because as a leader, it is not the members of parliament you will work with. It is these MCAs who have to pass your budget. It worries. If then you cannot work with them, then the budgets will not be passed. Developments will not be done. Services will not be rendered. It will be unfair for the people. If this house decides that it will be a sad affair, the worst to happen, it will be sad because we'll have reduced from 7 to 6 governors. So I request you, I urge you that with whatever results that shall be there, we try as leaders to ensure that we try and work together, because without working with these MCAs, there is no opportunity. I worked with you last time up there, and that is why all the time you'll find that the cameras, the gazettes, will always have my point.
Senator Faki.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika kwa kunipa fursa hii kuchangia mjadala huu muhimu ambao uko mbele yetu. Kwanza napongeza pande zote mbili, pande ya Assembly na pande ya Governor, kwa kuja bunge la Senate kujaribu kutatua matatizo yao. Na upande wowote uamuzi utakaotoka hapa ni kwamba hakuna upande ambao utakuwa umeshinda. Ni kwamba uamuzi utakaotoka hapo utakuwa ni uamuzi wa bunge ambao lazima tuukubali na vile vile pia utekeleze kama itakavyokubalika. Mheshimiwa Spika, sisi kama Waislamu tunasema kosa moja haliachi mke, haliachi bibi, kosa moja haliachi bibi. Na tunasema pia kwamba talaka ni mara 3. Unaweza kumpa bibi talaka akenda akarudi, ukampa ya pili akenda akarudi, ya 3 ndio inakuwa ya mwisho. Kwa Mheshimiwa Spika, Governor Kawira alikuja hapa mara ya kwanza mwaka jana nafikiri, na talaka haikuweza kupita. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika ana fursa nyingine kuja hapa kuja kuangalia ni vipi ambao tatokea matatizo yake. Mheshimiwa Spika, ni kwamba ni maandiko kwamba ushahidi uliotolewa haukuweza kuthibitisha makosa ambayo yamedaiwa kufanyika na Governor Kawira. Mheshimiwa Spika, tukiangalia makosa yote ambayo yamezungumziwa hapa na ushahidi ulioletwa haukuweza kufikia kiwango ambacho kimewekwa na mahakama ya upeo kabisa, yani Supreme Court, katika kuangalia masuala kama haya. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, itakuwa ni dhuluma kubwa kuweza kumpeleka nyumbani Governor Kawira kwa ushahidi ambao haukufikia kiwango unachohitajika na mahakama. Mheshimiwa Spika, uamuzi utakaofanywa usiku wa leo hautasaidia yale matatizo ambayo yako Meru samani. Na ni jukumu la viongozi ambao wamechaguliwa wote kuhakikisha kwamba tatizo hili wameweza kulitatua wao kama viongozi wa Meru, kwa sababu matatizo ya Meru hayawezi kutatuliwa na viongozi wa kutoka Isiolo, hawezi kuchaguliwa na viongozi kutoka Mombasa, wala viongozi kutoka sehemu yoyote, isipokuwa watu wa Meru wenyewe wakae chini waangalie matatizo haya waweze kuamua, ili watu wa Meru waweze kupata maendeleo kama ilivyotarajiwa na katiba yetu ya mwaka 2010. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa kumalizia ni kwamba tumepata fursa ya kujua matatizo ya Meru, na fursa hii ni fursa ambayo iko katika kaunti zetu zote ambazo tuko nazo katika nchi yetu ya Kenya. Na isiwe kwamba wakitoka hapa mmoja amesema mimi nimeshinda. La, watakaokuwa wameshinda ni watu wa Meru kupata uongozi na kupata viongozi ambao watasaidia kupeleka kaunti ya Meru mbele. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika.
Senator Methu.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for giving me an opportunity to speak to this motion. Honorable Speaker, this evening I've been called upon to make a very difficult decision. A decision that if we send Governor Kawira home, then her career comes to a grinding halt. Honorable Speaker, as it has been said, the threshold of an impeachment has been set in Article 181 of the Constitution of Kenya. It has also been very well spelled out in the precedents that have been set in the decision of the High Court in the Wambora case and in the decision of the Court of Appeal in the Wambora case, Honorable Speaker. Well, I thank the County Assembly for, because it is within their functions to process an impeachment. When I looked at the charges that have been placed against the Governor of Meru, Honorable Speaker, as a person who sits in the Public Accounts Committee, I looked at the evidence that was adduced in charge number 1, misappropriation and misuse of county resources. And Honorable Speaker, as a member who sits in that committee, we all agree that an infamous extract cannot become evidence as to why and how the Governor of Meru is corrupt on this particular charge, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, on the charge number 2, on nepotism and unrelated ethical practices, when the council and the team from the county assembly was called upon to come and give evidence in chief as to how the governor of Meru is nepotistic, Honorable Speaker, they told us that it is public knowledge that the people that are in those photos are her relatives, Honorable Speaker. So, Honorable Speaker, how am I supposed to know that a person that appears in a photo is a relative of Senator Olekina, is my own relative? Many people have said that the person who was playing guitar on this video looks like myself. How am I not? How, Mr. Speaker, is it that finally, Honorable Speaker, on charge number 3, on bullying, vilification, and demeaning of other leaders, Honorable Speaker, the evidence that was brought by the county assembly was of a man playing guitar here, singing when Wenyewivu Wajinyonge. That was the accusation that the Governor Kawira demeans other leaders. On the contrary, Honorable Speaker, the video that was played by the defense of the governor, Honorable Speaker, it printed an image of a patriarchal, deep, painful images that I would never want my own children, my own wife. Honorable Speaker, not the society that would want for our daughters, Honorable Speaker. It is not a mistake for anybody to become a leader and she's a woman, Honorable Speaker. It is not a mistake, and it is not the way that we can encourage our girls to become leaders, Honorable Speaker, that when you are a leader, if you disagree with other people, they use sexuality to harass you, Honorable Speaker.
Now, Honorable Senators, at this juncture, I will call the Governor. Governor Kawira, you have 10 minutes to address the Senate. The order, Honorable Senators, order. Honorable Kawira, you can take the stand, you have 10 minutes. Order, Honorable Senators. Order, Senators. Senator Gloria Oroba, leave the chamber immediately. Heston, please. Heston, or the sergeant at arms will help you. Proceed, Governor.
Honorable Speaker.
Order, Senators. Let us hear the governor in silence, please.
Honorable Speaker. Honorable members.
Order, Senators. Let us hear the governor in silence.
Honorable Speaker and Honorable Senators of this House, I want to take this opportunity to really thank you for your time. I know it has not been easy for you. God bless you for your time. Honorable Speaker, I'm here today pleading with this House. And I want to say it in Kiswahili. Mateso ni mengi, lakini Mungu tusaidia. If I have wronged any person in this House, in Meru, in Kenya, I pray for forgiveness. As a mother, a leader, it is my duty to unite Meru people. And I pray for more grace, that God will give me power to bring all the leaders together. I pray unto our Father to give me more energy, to give me more grace. Na Mungu anipe kuvumilia kwingi to see Meru people happy. The members of parliament, our dear deputy senator of this house, the MCAs, deputy speaker, if I've wronged any one of you, forgive me. Honorable Speaker, I was elected as an independent governor. I know I need MCAs. I've tried my best, and I shall still continue trying my best to see that I work with everyone. Honorable Speaker and this Honorable House, no one is an angel. I'm not an angel. Each and every one of us has his or her own weaknesses. It is my prayer to God that the weaknesses that I might have, God will help me, so that we work together as a team and make Meru people happy. Honorable Speaker, honorable members of this House, I take this opportunity again to say thank you, and I pray that you give me a second chance. God bless you.
Honorable Senators, I will allow the Senator for Meru 5 minutes to address the House.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity also to make my contribution to the motion. And Honorable Speaker, on the onset is maybe to challenge the procedure, because I wish we are making these comments after we did the voting. Because, Honorable Speaker, if we hear the comments of many senators here, even the Madam Governor, it's like we have concluded the business and still we are to cast our votes. So, Mr. Speaker, nevertheless, I want to say that this House, on Article 96(1) of the Constitution, the Senate represents counties and it serves to protect the interests of the counties and their governments. And Mr. Speaker, I wish before any governor is brought to this House to prosecute any impeachment procedure or process, this House can be able to go to that particular county, understand the issues that have been released by the members of the county assembly of that particular county. Mr. Speaker, you know I live in Meru, and even tomorrow I'll be traveling to Meru. All the 47 or the 67 senators who are here, they don't live in Meru. So, Mr. Speaker, I wish during this process, at some point, before the governor is brought to this assembly or this House, there is a process that can be an intermediary in a way that these issues can be canvassed. And I want to thank Senator Omtata in his, what he is trying to do in his petition. I wish a tribunal can be set up. A tribunal can be able to sit with the MCs, with the governor, with the leaders of that particular county, so that they can be heard by that tribunal. But when any governor is impeached and brought to the Senate immediately and directly, members of that particular county loses that opportunity to prosecute the issues, Honorable Speaker. So on this particular case, let me say that Meru, where I live, we have a problem, and a big one, Mr. Speaker. And you have one, the governor has confessed that she has some weaknesses that she will pray on to help her overcome. So that tells us that there is a problem in Meru. And Mr. Speaker, it is not the way we put our steps, we clap, we shout, but Meru has issues that need to be addressed. And because Meru is not living in a vacuum, I want to address the head of state, His Excellency the President, to take charge and understand what is in Meru, what is ailing Meru County. I want to thank the MCAs. They have done their work excellently. There is no way that 59 MCAs can be logged or manned that they impeached the governor for the third time. The MCAs have issues that they have raised in their petition. But also, Mr. Speaker, you know, unless these gentlemen and ladies are hand, then we can never solve Meru issues. As I speak here, Mr. Speaker, I want to tell this House and convince them enough that Meru has issues, has problems. And also, Mr. Speaker, when we see creeps print in vernacular, I also wanted to actually challenge also that process of executing these witnesses. When a creep is print in vernacular, some are not audible, and then what is translated might not be what was said. So what do we have to say that this script is very articulate? So, Mr. Speaker, what I want to request my colleagues here, as we make this decision, look to all the counts. Let us not bring down to only one issue about women. This thing called Keberi, is it an instrument or this used to style porridge or maziwarara? So, Mr. Speaker, that particular creep, to me, as a Meru Linda, I think there was a misrepresentation of the meaning of that particular creep, Mr. Speaker. So as we also make our decision, I hope the Senate can still review those creeps.
Honorable Deputy Speaker, your time is up. Now, honorable senators, at this juncture, I will call upon the mover to reply.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I've had opportunity to listen to colleague senators, and of course the views are far and wide, as you'd imagine. Many agree, many disagree with what has been spoken about here. Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to humbly plead with the House that immediately after this procedure, please let us conclude the impeachment procedure bill. We cannot be the House that is castigating county assemblies for not having lived up to the dictates of our Constitution, yet as a Senate for 3 terms, we have not been able to guide our county assemblies on how to properly carry out an impeachment. It is my humble submission, Mr. Speaker, that the County Assembly of Meru did their job exceptionally well. In fact, Mr. Speaker, because you are drawing close, to me, there are certain charges among SS7 that the County Assembly has proved beyond reasonable doubt. Mr. Speaker, it is unfortunate that we find ourselves in such a situation where I think, like one senator has said, damned if you do, damned if you don't. And I want to reiterate as I conclude, Mr. Speaker, what I prescribed earlier in my moving notes, that either way, whether we save Governor KAWIRA or whether we impeach her, Meru people will still need the guidance of this House, because there are no easy way out of the current situation. The failure that exists in Meru is far and beyond either saving or impeaching a particular governor. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I want to request our colleagues that let's conclude this exercise. Cast your vote with your conscience. Listen to what the people of Meru are saying. You cannot, Mr. Speaker, openly side and say that certain leaders have spoken about things that do not impress you. While we have seen that actually it appears to be a culture in Meru, where every leader, including none other than this Governor KAWIRA, who's here with us, say very foul things to each other. That is a bad culture that we need not encourage in our politics. Therefore, my final words, Mr. Speaker, to Governor KAWIRA, I don't know whether we will survive or fall, but Governor, take time to read the Bible. Don't just preach. If you read the Bible, you will find answers to some of the questions that continue to follow you. It cannot be, like many have observed, that all these 59 MCAs that are saying in less than 1 year, on 2 occasions, that you are unfit to hold office and they be thoroughly wrong. There's something that you need to soul search and find deep within yourself to reflect, Madam Governor. And should perhaps God grant you grace and you continue to serve these people, please change your ways and find it in your heart to work with other leaders. That is not to say that I know how this vote will go. It is now the opportunity of the 47 delegations. Mr. Speaker, I'm being told to talk to the MPs, but they are our colleagues, Madam Speaker, and you know, many of them actually, anyway, I don't want to be, Mr. Speaker, we are really pressed for time, and I want senators to vote before midnight. And I think I have said everything that I need to say. I think if the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit. I thank you.
Now, honorable senators, pursuant to Standing Order 84-1, I do make a determination that this matter indeed affects counties and therefore voting shall be by delegations. I will direct the Sergeant at Arms to ring the bell for 10 minutes. Now, the reason why the bell needs to be rung for 10 minutes, the system needs to reboot. It has been overstretched beyond its limits. If we start voting now, it's going to collapse. So for those 10 minutes, the system will reboot, and then voting shall be done electronically. Thank you.
Well, the debate on hearing and determination of the proposed removal from office by impeachment of Honorable KAWIRA MWANGAZA, the governor of Meru County, has just come to a conclusion. The speaker has directed that a 10-minute bell, this is a division bell, because once the debate is over, then the members will be going into voting on the charges that have been leveled against Governor of Meru, Honorable KAWIRA MWANGAZA. These charges are 7 charges. And what we have just seen is that the members, a few members, of course, going by the time constraints, a few members of the Senate managed to give their opinions and views on the evidence and the presentations that were done by both parties, that is the County Assembly of Meru and the executive, that is the governor's side. The charges include misappropriation, meaning other leaders, illegal appointments and usurpation of statutory powers, contempt of court, illegally naming a public road after husband, as well as contempt over the assembly. So these are the 7 charges that the governor of Meru County is facing, and the 10-minute bell, that is the division bell, is just to put in place the measures that will be guiding in the voting process. Remember, 47 of the senators will be taking a vote as directed by the Speaker, indicating that the vote will be by delegation. By delegation, this is under the Standing Order number 83 on county delegation, that each county delegation shall have 1 vote to be cast on behalf of the county by the head of the county delegation, or in the absence of the head of the delegation, by another member of the delegation designed by the head of the delegation. So in 10 minutes, these members will be going into division. The Speaker has already directed that division will be done by electronic voting. This is pursuant to Standing Order number 86. That indicates that unless the Speaker, for the convenience of the Senate, otherwise directs, voting on any division in the Senate shall be by electronic voting. When the Speaker directs that an electronic vote be taken, the division bell, which is what is currently underway, 10 minutes in this manner, but in the Standing Order, it indicates that when the Speaker directs that an electronic vote be taken, the division bell shall be rung for 5 minutes, and the Senate shall proceed to a vote at the expiry of the 5 minutes, or such further time as the Speaker may, for the convenience of the Senate, direct. And that is exactly what the Speaker has done. For the convenience of the Senate, the Speaker has directed that the division bell be rung for 10 minutes. As you can see, members there preparing to be able to come back and take that vote. Remember, these are 7 charges, and each charge will be voted on. Members will be taking a vote on each and every charge and give their views and opinion on how these charges have been, how each and every charge has been substantiated or not substantiated with regards to the evidence and the presentations that have been done by the 2 parties, both the governor's side as well as the county assembly side. So each member will be casting a vote on each of this charge, depending on how he or she feels whether it has been substantiated or not substantiated. Standing Order 86 per 3 indicates that during electronic voting, senators shall cast their votes by presenting the yes, no, or abstain button. So as we do this broadcast, there will be a broadcast of the voting process, and we shall be showing you how the voting is counting, or how the voting is taking place. How many senators will be voting yes on each charge, how many senators will be voting no on each charge, and if there is any that will choose to abstain from voting on any of the charges that will be read out by the Speaker as he guides the House into voting on these allegations that have been made by the County Assembly of Meru against the County Governor, that is Honorable KAWIRA MWANGAZA. We understand that both parties are still in the chambers and they will be witnessing this voting as it takes place. So we will be seeing 3 results, should I say, or sides: those who are saying yes to a charge, those who will be saying no to a charge, and those who may choose to abstain from voting either yes or no. Standing Order 86 on electronic voting, Part 4 indicates that at the expiry of the 5 minutes, or as soon as the result of the voting appears on the indicator board, the Speaker or the chairperson, as the case may be, in this case is the Speaker, shall announce the results of the division forthwith. But of course, we understand that we will also be able to view the results as they trickle in this case. Each and every member will be directed to take a vote on each of the charges. And once the voting starts, then we will be able to broadcast and show you how the numbers are trickling in on that particular board. And once the speaker reads out the results of the division, then we will be able also to see that the vote has been cast in one way or the other. A senator who is not able to cast his or her vote due to any reason considered sufficient by the speaker may, before the result of the division is announced and after obtaining the permission of the speaker, have his or her vote recorded verbally by stating whether he or she is in favor of or against the question. Remember, once in a while we have seen division taking place at the Senate, and there have been challenges on the electronic voting that has sometimes necessitated the House to go into roll call voting. So we are not hoping that, or we are not seeing any challenges at the moment, but should such a challenge arise, then a senator will be given an opportunity to cast their vote verbally. If the electronic vote refuses to work altogether, then members of the Senate will go into division through the roll call voting. This is also an option that is available in the House Standing Order 88, where in case of a failure of an electronic voting, then the House can opt to do the roll call voting. Remember, 47 members, that is the county delegation, 47 members of the Senate, these are elected members, will be casting their vote. And in this case, for a charge to be termed as having been substantiated or not substantiated, then the number has to be 25. This is more than half of the senators in the chamber, or the elected senators. So we are looking at 25 members to be voting in one way for it to be having termed as a complete vote or a complete decision by the senators. So once we go back into the division process or the voting process, then the members will be looking at having a 25 number there for it to be able to move to the next stage in all the charges that have been forwarded to the Senate with regards to the removal from office by impeachment of Honorable KAWIRA MWANGAZA, who is the governor of Meru County. So once the 10 minutes quorum or rather division bell lapses, then the speaker, of course, will call the House to order, and each senator will be required to log out of their electronic devices, then again log in. By that, then that means that the process will be picking up at the same time, and each member will be allowed to be able to cast their vote, and then the numbers will be showing on the board, and we will be able to broadcast it to you wherever you are, and you'll be able to see the votes as they come in on that particular board. Remember, this is a live broadcast that has been brought to you by the Parliamentary Broadcasting Unit in partnership with the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. We have been broadcasting this at 2-day trial for you live, and you have been keenly following these proceedings. We have seen members giving their opinions and views with regards to the presentation that has been made. Some indicating that they will not be allowing what has been termed as gender-based violence in a way, following the videos that have been broadcasted as evidence in the chambers. And of course, that is one of the issues that we have seen senators extensively touching on in their debate as the presentations were over, and the House had gotten into the debate session on the motion that is the motion on the removal from office by impeachment of the Meru Governor KAWIRA MWANGAZA. So if you are just joining us, then just remember that we are at the tail end of this 2-day trial. There have been processes from Tuesday at 9 a.m. when the hearing process began. And today, remember, it was a 2-day trial. 2 days appointed, that was the 7th of November and the 8th of November appointed for this particular hearing, or rather impeachment hearing. And at this moment, the Senate is rushing against time. Remember, it was only 2 days, that is the 7th and 8th of November, to have completed this particular hearing, investigated the case, and did make a determination and find out whether the allegations or accusations that have been leveled against the governor can be substantiated or not, and give a communication on the same. So what will be coming up after the bell is that the senators will be taking their vote on this particular day in a manner that has been termed to be an electronic voting. But should there be any challenges in the electronic voting, then the House may opt to go the roll call voting way. The roll call standing order number 88 indicates that when the Speaker directs a roll call vote to be taken, the division bell shall be rung for 5 minutes. But currently it is a division bell that members are putting themselves in order to be able to come back and vote electronically. That is the first approach that members usually use in such a case. Once they choose, all right, allow me to hand you over. It seems like the 10 minutes is done. Allow me to hand you over for the voting process.
We're good? Order, honorable senators, kindly take your seats. Honorable senators, kindly take your seats. Senator Mandago, why are you holding hands? Order, honorable senators, let us take our seats. Sergeant at Arms, kindly proceed to close the doors and draw the bars. Now, honorable senators, before we proceed to vote, allow me to bring clarity to this process so that there are no mistakes as we proceed to vote. We are voting 7 times because the charges are 7. So we'll call one charge, you vote. We move to the other charge, we vote, until we come to the very last 7th charge. Now, I want to make it clear. These are 7 charges. If one of them is substantiated, Her Excellency Governor KAWIRA ceases being a governor of Meru, even if it's just one charge that has been substantiated. If I call the charge, if you vote yes, it means you're saying that charge has been substantiated. If you vote no, you're saying that charge has not been substantiated. So that clarity is important, so don't make mistakes as we proceed on this very important Now, honorable senators, voting shall be done electronically. And this juncture, therefore, I will call upon the delegates to log out. Sergeant at Arms, I want you to go around and pull out any card, any delegate card that is still inside the delegate unit. Once you have done that, Sergeant at Arms, kindly confirm so that we move to the next step. At this juncture, honorable senators, you must be holding your card, your delegate card, in your hands. Sergeant at Arms, you are waiting for your signal. Good. Now, honorable senators, proceed to log back. Log back into the delegate unit. So before you proceed to vote, I'll put the question, which is that whereas pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution and Section 33 of the County Governments Act, on Wednesday, 25th of October 2023, the Meru County Assembly approved a motion to remove from office by impeachment Honorable Mwangaza, the Governor of Meru County. Whereas by a letter reference M/Cares Volume 4/43 dated the 26th of October 2023, and received in the office of the Speaker of the Senate on Friday, 27th of October 2023, the Speaker of Meru County Assembly informed the Senate of the approval of a motion by the County Assembly and further forwarded to the Speaker of the Senate documents in evidence of the proceedings of the Assembly. Further, whereas pursuant to Article 180 of the Constitution, Section 33 of the County Governments Act, and Standing Order 80 of the Senate heard the County Assembly on the grounds for removal from office by impeachment of Honorable KAWIRA MWANGAZA, the Governor of Meru County. And further, whereas pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution, Section 33 of the County Governments Act, and Standing Order 80, the Senate also heard the Honorable KAWIRA MWANGAZA on the grounds for her proposed removal from office by impeachment as the Governor of Meru County. Now, therefore, Honorable Senators, pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution, Section 33 of the County Governments Act, and Standing Order 80, the Senate resolves to remove from office by impeachment the Honorable KAWIRA MWANGAZA, the Governor of Meru County, on the following charges. Charge 1, misappropriation and misuse of county resources. Charge 2, nepotism and related unethical practices. Charge 3, bullying, vilification, and demeaning other leaders. Charge number 4, illegal appointments and usurpation of statutory powers. Charge number 5, contempt of court. Charge number 6, illegally naming a public road after her husband. And lastly, charge number 7, contempt of the Assembly. Honorable Senators, I further guide that we shall have a separate vote for each charge. There will therefore be 7 separate votes. We shall now proceed to vote, starting with charge number 1, misappropriation and misuse of county resources. You may proceed to vote. Honorable Senators, after you've voted, you sit in silence. Now, honorable senators, we shall move to charge number 2, nepotism and related unethical practices. You may proceed to vote. Honorable senators, we shall now proceed to charge number 3, bullying, vilification, and demeaning other leaders. You may proceed to vote. Honorable senators, we now move to charge number 4, illegal appointments and usurpation of statutory powers. You may now proceed to vote. Honorable Gataya, you're out of order, and I call you to order. Senator Tom Ojenda proceed to dispatch and cast your vote. Honorable Senators, we shall now move to charge number 5, contempt of court. You may. Honorable Senators, we shall now move to charge number 6, illegally naming of a public road after her husband. You may proceed to vote. Now, honorable senators, we shall proceed to the last charge. Now, to the members of public, depending on which side you are, and depending on how the voting will be done on this last charge, you must be silent. To the parties, it matters not the outcome of the vote on the last charge. You must be seated in silence. To the members who are seated in the speaker's gallery, it matters not the outcome of the charge. You must sit in silence. Charge number 7, contempt of the assembly. Senators, you may now proceed to vote. Senator Siango, take your seat.
As they are doing this, if anybody wants to come in, you can come in. Let's have a discussion.
Honorable senators, the results of the division are as follows. Charge number 1, misappropriation and misuse of county resources. Ayes 19, nays 28. The nays have it. Charge number 2, nepotism and related unethical practices. Ayes 5, nays 42, abstain 0. The nays have it. Charge number 3, bullying, vilification and demeaning other leaders. Ayes 3, nays 44, abstain 0, the nays have it. Charge number 4, illegal appointments and usurpation of statutory powers. The ayes 20 votes, nays 27 votes, abstain 0 vote, the nays have it. Charge number 5, contempt of court. The ayes 3 votes, the nays 44 votes, abstain 0, so the nays have it. Charge number 6, illegally naming a public road after her husband. Ayes 4 votes, the nays 43 votes, abstain 0, so the nays have it. Charge number 7, contempt of the Assembly. Ayes 10 votes, nays 37 votes, abstain 0, so the nays have it. Now, honorable senators, Section 33(7) of the County Governments Act provide as follows. If a majority of all members of the Senate vote to uphold any impeachment charge, the governor shall cease to hold office. Honorable senators, the result of the division indicate that the Senate has not upheld any of the impeachment charges. Pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution, Section 33(8) of the County Governments Act, and Standing Order 87 of the Senate Standing Orders, the Senate has failed to remove from office by impeachment Honorable KAWIRA MWANGAZA, the Governor of Meru County. And the Governor accordingly continues to hold office. You may now withdraw the bars and open the doors. Now, to the parties, you shall stay seated as the senators exit the chamber. Likewise, the people who are in the public gallery, you will stay seated as the senators leave the chamber. And for those who are seated in the public gallery, you shall stay seated as the senators leave the chamber. Honorable senators, you may now rise. Senator Sotsi.
Sisi vile vile sio wote ambao wanataka ugomvi kwa sababu ya ugomvi.
Niwaambia nyinyi ni wajinga mkimpata Ruto. Mkadhani tunawadanganya.
Jeti ya Ruto. Hii maisha ya Ruto ni stress na ni stress.
Mungu wewe umetukosea.
Mia, munataka kurudi kwa moto ama munataka kuokoka? Munataka kuokoka? Njia ya kuokoka ni Baba. Nawaambia.
Mlikataa Raila. Raila alikuwa mtu wa kwanza kulilia watu. Raila ndio mwenye kuongoza hii nchi. Mpende.
Muniache niunge Raila kwa amani. Na mimi naambia nyinyi watu wa Azimio, hapa Rift Valley tuko pamoja. Petition ile ya pesa 8. dawa ya hii Kenya ni kusupport Raila Amolo Odinga 100%.
Raila, tega sikio, tuko nawe hadi mwisho. Tuungane, tuondoe Ruto, serikali feki ya uongo. Baba regesha maandamano, hawa mafisi tuwaone kando. Ruto ainue mkono, Gachagua afunge mdomo.
Baba tapika maandamano. Baba tapika maandamano. Baba tuende maandamano. Wakenya wamechoka.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there we go. Bernard is will be back later. He's busy somewhere, but we've seen what has happened. I don't know what your thoughts are. Kama kuna mtu anataka kuja hapa hivi tujadiliane mara mbili tatu tuone a recap of what you think happened there. We have 1 hour, and if kama kuna mtu anataka kuja ingie. For me, yesterday, the first day was kind of messy because everything was, I mean, what I was hearing them talking about, or the accusations were, you know, mtu amenyimwa kuingia kwa WhatsApp group and things like that. And in my mind, I was like, that's a WhatsApp group ni kitu ya kuleta kwa national TV and, you know, national politics, wasting time. And the thing is that I feel like even the senators right now just went home after getting money for nothing, because I think that was just a game. I really did not hear anything that could have really ingepatia huyu mama ati aende nyumbani. I didn't see it. The only thing that got me scared, and maybe guys, I'm putting the link over there to kuja tujadiliane, just 30 minutes about what just happened. The only thing for me that I thought was kind of fishy was when they brought 7 charges, and when the speaker said that if only 1 charge passes, she's gone. For me, I thought that was a setup. Because kuna vitu zingine unaangalia but all these politicians do it. Ruto wako kwa juu ya magari wakitusi watu, kina Kuria wako kwa wakitusi watu. Do they get impeached for that? I mean, I don't know what you guys think. Kama kuna mtu anataka kuingia, nimeingiza link hapo hivyo, otherwise I'll be closing. Tuone nani atakuja kufungua hiyo ingine. I probably won't be the one, but I know kuna watu huko nyuma. But if you have a moment to come and just talk about what what you think this impeachment was all about, the second one, and what is happening in Meru, and again, close by, last term, Embu. Same thing scenario, we could see it just happen the same way. What is this that is happening in that area? Why don't we get it from the other side? I mean, I know even Ukambani had gotten one time when Kivuda was there. And Kivuda threatened to just close the whole thing. We start afresh. Now, is this setting a precedence? Because I think there's a thin line here. We might also be setting a precedence that you cannot. We go back to the person that was saying at the talks that we have governors who are immune. Are governors immune? But again, even though they're immune, can we follow the facts? So what is really happening here is the biggest question. Marambili, is it because she's stern, but she also does her things the way it needs to be done? Is it because of these things that they're saying that men cannot be ruled by women? What do you think was behind all those things? Is it state sanctioned? If it is, did the state get beat? Can someone actually come in and just have a 10 minutes conversation with me? Otherwise, I'll be closing, and then we wait for we wait for whoever is going to open the other link or whatever. lakini kama kuna mtu anataka kuja tuongee, tuangalie nini imefanyika hapa, what you think, kama ulifuata hiyo kitu yote, and who do you think is behind all this. I'm not accusing anyone, but even should the governor, I mean the deputy governor, be, I mean, is he clean? Thank you, Collins, for us, for answering the call. Asante sana. Collins, thank you. Tupatie mawaidha yako. Wewe unaona nini ilikuwa inaendelea hapa? What do you think was happening here? Welcome.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I've just joined. I don't know what you are talking about. Maybe can you brief me about the topic? Then I will contribute in a short while.
Oh, okay. We were watching the KAWIRA MWANGAZA, the governor of Meru. She has just been acquitted of 7 charges. There was a lot of accusations that she was given. Some of them naming a road to her husband. There was 7 charges. Maybe I can find them and read them for you. 7 charges. There's some of not working with the MCAs. There's other ones that the deputy governor was accusing her of sijui ametolewa kwa WhatsApp group. For me, I felt it was a game. And here's my question. Now she's been acquitted of the 7 charges. And for me, I was scared because the 7 charges, when you have 7 charges and the Speaker of the Senate says that if only she's found guilty by just 1, she has to go. For me, I felt that was a setup. But she's sailed through for the 2nd time. I think you know that thing of Meru. That is what we were watching here. And then so before we close the feed, I just decided to see if I can get some feedback on what you think about, because I think this borders between gender leadership, MCAs, what they can control, what they can't, and also leadership in general. This is the 2nd time she's surviving this. What do you think about that?
Okay, thank you very much. I've gotten what you are saying. Personally, in my opinion, which I'm entitled to, I can say that outsiders had a hand in this impeachment, and also because this is the 2nd time that this very governor is being tried before the Senate, and this is an indication that there must be something wrong. However, according to my personal view, I think Mwangaza has been secretly working with the national executive. When I'm talking about the executive arm of government, I'm talking about the presidency. And as you are aware, the presidency commands the majority in the Senate. And for anyone to pass through the Senate, the president must stamp the authority. That is my opinion, because you cannot say that the first time she was there, 2nd time she was there. This is the first senator this is the first senator that within this period from 2022, during the last election until now, is the first senator to face Senate twice, meaning there must be something wrong. On top of that, some women leaders are saying that is being persecuted because she's a woman. You see, according to my opinion, whether you are a woman, whether you are a man, whether you are a person with disability, whether you are a youth, whether you are a foreigner, or whether you are from a certain tribe, when you commit a crime, you should carry your own cross. I was perturbed when women leaders, the likes of Anne Waiguru, these are the governor Gladys Wanga and Susan Kihika, saying that KAWIRA MWANGAZA is being unfairly targeted, which is not true. You know, these MCAs have been mandated by the Constitution to carry this very mandate of impeaching someone, and they followed the law. That's why even the court of law did not heed to the KAWIRA's lawyer needs of stopping the impeachment. They allowed it, which means there's something wrong. And also, some women who are members of the Meru County Assembly, they concurred with their male colleagues that KAWIRA MWANGAZA should face the Senate. And also like to tell the supporters, those who are supporting KAWIRA MWANGAZA, that KAWIRA MWANGAZA is not yet off the hook, because the Senate, the law of the land does not limit how many times a governor should be impeached. He can go back, she can go back to Meru, and then next day they start another process, depending on what happened. I think that my kind advice to KAWIRA, or anyone who feel deemed to advise her, he should stop being arrogant, should adhere to the law. Take for instance that incident of naming a road after a husband. I think, if I'm not wrong, that is the function of the MCS must pass the law. And on top of that, her family has many privileges. Like, for example, she's a governor. Why can't that road be named after someone else? Why her husband? I think this is a high time that we must stop, and that this should be a lesson to the other governors. And for senators, I will urge them that in future they should vote with their conscience. They should not be controlled by the outsiders. Up to that danger, that is my submission. Thank you. In case of any question, I'm free to answer.
So for you, you feel she should have been at least found guilty? Which I mean, she had 7 counts. Which one do you think she should have been found guilty?
Okay, that one, especially the contempt of court, failing to adhere to the court's directive, and also nepotism, nepotism, because she was accused of employing some of her family members. On top of that, she was also been accused of naming, and procedurally, not just naming, but and procedurally naming road after her husband. Those are very serious issues, because naming road after your husband, it means that it is like you are personalizing the public property.
So to you, you think at those two, at least she should have gotten one?
Yeah. But others, I don't. Others apart from those two, I don't think if it carried the merits. That is according to me. If I was the one voting, if I was the senator, for instance, I could have supported those 2 counts.
But the funny thing, if I'm not right, I'm still looking at that. I'm trying to look at the votes, trying to find them, because actually they're just working on them. With those 2, actually, you know, is the ones that she actually got the less votes. But now it brings us back to the constitution that we normally talk about. Where in the constitution is it say that if you want to name a road, you cannot name in a certain name?
Okay. It is not clear. That law is not clear. It's somehow vague. But the will of people can be done indirectly by the people, because most of the things that should be followed is the public participation in most of the cases. But public participation it will be directly involvement of the citizens of Meru, and also it can also be indirectly. Through the MCS, because if we allow people just to name anything anyhowly, we'll find tomorrow that another governor will come and will change the name of the county to be, maybe, for example, Kamodo County, which should not be allowed. KAWIRA is in the office to hold that office on behalf of the people. Although that is not clear, it is still a matter of debate. It is not clear in law of our land. But you know, as we usually say, there are some unwritten laws. Like, for instance, if today I become the governor of my county, Trans Nzoia, they start to name I start to change the name of the hostel to be the Webby's Hostel. You know, that can be equated to personalization, or family, making this to be a family matters, which should be regulated. For instance, there is no law. Okay, like, for instance, the second president of this country, I think during his reign as the president, during his tenure as the president, he named almost almost 40% of the girls' school, Moi girls, Moi girls, Moi girls. I felt it somehow should be regulated because even if they are honoring him or her, these are some of the things that should be regulated. We have some, even if somebody is a hero, we have many heroes. But the question that comes here, for example, in Meru County, what role has is it by Theoru, the first gentleman, has ever done to Meru to deserve to name that road after her? There are so many. There are
But
so
you see,
many.
my friend.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Just finish your statement, and then I'll rebuttal that.
I feel there are so many heroes who ought to be named. The leaders who have contributed a lot in that county. So naming the road after him is not that bad idea, but somehow it should involve other leaders. For this case, that is a local government. They should also somehow involve the MCS.
And I really don't believe if because that road is in somebody's ward, right? One of the MCS.
Yes.
So are you telling me
Yes.
that you want to tell me the governor just woke up one day and went and just put a sign somewhere in somebody's ward and they did not know? Basically, what I'm trying to say is that we have repetitive names, we have traditions, we have what people like, what people don't like, but we do have a constitution. And according to the constitution, there's nothing that tells someone, do not open this road and name it your name. I can open a road and name it my name. So what? Where's the constitution telling me not to? Just because you feel it should have gone to someone else? Or what if I come and tell you, actually, that was just a namesake? You see where I'm going, my brother? I'm going to the constitution.
Yeah.
I'm going to the what does the constitution say? It doesn't deny anyone anything.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't deny. It doesn't deny anyone from naming anything. But you see, that's why I'm trying to talk about natural law or the unwritten law, because someone else will come. Like for this, as even the law does not deny that MCA to name that road after his or her spouse. Tomorrow, someone else also can also change and name maybe after his son or her daughter. So I feel somehow it should be somehow okay. It is not clear in the constitution, but it's something that we shall just use common sense and try to somehow regulate.
So basically, what you're saying, it's not there yet. So have I convinced you that constitutionally I would have voted and I would have wanted you to vote against that, because we are looking at the constitution. We are not in our traditional homes and whatever. We are acting on the constitution here. Constitutionally, she couldn't have been charged with that. Yes?
Okay. Constitutionally.
Yeah, under the common law, what we know, Collins, our tradition and all that. And anyway, this doesn't seem right socially and, and all that. But constitutionally, could you charge her with that?
I could have charged her. Okay, it doesn't take it directly, but I should follow the law, which says that public participation. It should be a unilateral, somehow a decision which involve numerous people, wherever you are making some of these major decisions. Although it's not in the constitution, but also the law says that people ought to be represented while making decisions. That's why we have leaders. We are not in a certain kingdom or a chiefdom whereby we have only one leader, but we have numerous leaders who should have been also been brought up on board. Because as much as you are saying there's an MCA there's no MCA who has come out to say that he or she was involved. You see, that is what I'm trying to say. But okay, because the law is not against it or pro it. So I think there it is now it's a matter of an individual, a senator who votes to try to judge basing on a natural way of understanding.
Okay. So is there a difference between the constitution that these people take an oath to follow and in the natural way of what you feel. If you feel your neighbor looks ugly, so now you can put that in. I mean, you can charge them according to the constitution, which is not in the constitution. I'm trying to champion the constitution, that we need to also look at the constitution. Before you answer that, what was the other one that you said you could have found her guilty of?
Contempt of the court.
Okay, I won't talk much of that. Maybe you can elaborate for me that one. Hiyo sikufuata sana. I thought it was contempt of the MCAs and whatever. I didn't. That one sijafuata sana. Maybe you can educate me on that. Where she was being contempt of court, because the only place I heard them talk about contempt of court was when apparently she paid two of our workers while they are being at home, but there was a court order that she needed to pay them. I think those are the guys that actually went against the constitution, because you're not supposed to receive anything, and it's clearly stated in chapter 6 of our constitution. You cannot earn money while you're not using. Well, anyway, we know the senior one mwenye alifanya miaka 5 akifanya akiwa analipo bila. So elaborate for me on that one. If I got it the wrong way, please educate me on that one. I did not follow that charge so much.
Okay, I don't have a clip of it. I wish I had a clip of it. Yeah, I don't know even which. Okay, maybe if you give me time. Okay, tomorrow if you'll be here, I'll go and read much about it.
Okay.
Because now I have peripheral information about it. But I promise if I'll be there next time, I will elaborate more. I'll follow it in detail, because if I'll give you detail today, I will give you the scanned information. But however, also that issue of MCAs. Personally, I think the MCAs are very crucial people. As a leader, I think he should have called his MCAs to order. Maybe if the county assembly was failed, she could have used maybe negotiation outside the county. She can also try to solve the problem out of county assembly, because the MCAs are the legislatures at the grassroots level. Now, when you lukewarm them, that raises more questions than answers. So actually, it carries a weight, because how should you lukewarm MCAs? Because if you lukewarm MCAs now, you'll have a hard time implementing or serving the common mwananchi. How will the bills sail through the county assembly? How will your executive members be? How will they be approved? You see, that will cause a lot of acrimonies, and it will cause a lot of problems.
Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, that's very good elaboration and start of looking at it. You see, I think there's a problem with the MCAs. On this one, I'm not looking whether it's UDA, Azimio, or whatever it is. I'm just looking straight at what leadership is and what has happened after we got our devolution. We've had cases. I'll give you a good example of Kivuda Kibwana. Kivuda Kibwana, you remember his saga. I think he was the first one kuatakiwa na MCAs. They even threatened to shut down the government, the Makueni government. He said, you know what, shut it down. In fact, I'm taking a letter to Nini. We go back to I'm taking a letter to the executive. We go back and look at the constitutional means of just, going back to Ndekwadebe mwenye atapata apate. And they calmed down. There's a history of these MCAs always holding the governors at ransom. If you don't do this, we're going to take you through the process of impeachment. If you don't do this, you're going to take this. First of all, I don't even believe why they get money for CDF. CDF, they're not there for CDF. What do they do with it? Like this one, I heard that 15 million to 30 million. Should the deputy governor come in? Now, it comes to a point, another constitutional crisis that I want you to tell me, and I think we are in this constitutional crisis, even though we saw it a long time. This thing of governor, deputy governor, president, deputy, or whatever, vice, whatever you want to call it, being, what do they say it, at the hip, tied together at the hip. So if we're tied together at the hip and one gets impeached, why don't we go home, all of us? See, we are tied together at the hip.
Yeah, exactly.
So why should you impeach me and then now you're the one next online? If I decide we're going home, nimetolewa twende home sisi wote. Kwani bedha?
Okay, let me start with the issue of MCS. I concur with you. There's a problem with our MCS, but you see, we should ask ourselves: when did the rain start beating us? The rain started beating us the day that we the common citizens started saying that education qualification does not matter when it comes to leadership. Because, like for example, I come from Trans Nzoia. Over 60% of MCS are not educated. They are either illiterate or they are either illiterate or semi-illiterate. So if you take there, for example, okay, on a lighter note, for example, if you take a class 7 dropout, you vote for a class 7 dropout to represent you in the National Assembly. Then my governor, who is Natembea, for instance, bring a bill through his majority leader on the floor that maybe we should increase the budget allocation for agriculture or maybe for health. Then MCA stands up and say that instead of increasing that amount of money for a certain sector, then take us to Brazil or Congo for a benchmarking. For instance, the other is during in the previous year, MCS from is it Nandi? They were taken to Congo for a benchmarking about the athletic field. You see, for example, if you compare Congo and Kenya, which among these two countries is known for athletic? You see, that one also bring another shock. That's why we should also be cognizant the kind of people that you elect. Because if you elect their professional, for example, if you elect their teachers, lawyers, nurses, agricultural officers at the county level, we will have a good legislation. But all in all, it is not lost, because if the MCAs impeach you, you have a second chance to defend yourself or yourself in the Senate. And if also the Senate, you think that the Senate is unfair, you still have the chance to defend yourself in a high court, court of appeal, and the highest court in the land, which is the Supreme Court. Which means, and if the MCS made a mistake, of course, that issue will be detected somewhere. And also, secondly, I like to concur with you that there is a problem with the constitution. Deputy president or deputy governor should work with their bosses, so that in case of any mistake, they should all go home. Like for instance, now they are saying that if a president dies, a person who takes over will be the deputy president. This deputy president or deputy governor may conspire with other people and murder his or her boss, so that he or she can take over. I think we should go back to the previous constitution, whereby the deputy president used to take over for 90 days. Then another election. Then we held another election, because some of them, like for example, at the moment now, if KAWIRA MWANGAZA was to be impeached, a deputy could have taken over. Who knows? Maybe the deputy governor was the one who bribed the MCA for them to impeach her. You see, there's a lot of some of the things that I think we need a referendum to change this. That is my opinion.
Thank you. And you're headed there. And sooner or later, my friend, if we sit down, and this is just my opinion, and guys, whoever wants to come and have a conversation with us, please, come in and have a conversation if you have a different opinion. I think it's gonna be a place where we actually sit down and actually look at the Constitution and follow it to the latter. Because if we don't follow the Constitution, then we have no social agreement of living together. So saa zingine hata kama kitu ni ya UDA na ni mtu Azimio, just look at it first of all. What's the Constitution? If the Constitution hasn't been followed, it's wrong. Simple.
Okay. Let me somehow go out of topic. I think at the moment I'm missing one of our previous speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Kenneth Otiato Marende. If you remember very well, he used to adhere to the Constitution. There was a time he was even elected by the ODM, but there was a crisis when the former president Mwai Kibaki appointed Vice President then Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka to be the leader of government business. Raila protested, but Kenneth Maende stood to his ground, and he called them to order and told them to go and negotiate because the law was not clear by that time. But you see now, our current speaker, for instance, he doesn't care. He just, I think, is just aligning himself to his boss. That's why we have a lot of crisis. Like for instance, when the parliament was being open, that issue of the which side has the majority leader, and the constitution was also very clear. At not the constitution, but the coalition agreement was somehow clear. At what point should a party exit a coalition? But you see now, because because Wetangula belonged to a certain coalition, he just ruled favoring his side. And yet, if I'm not wrong, I remember the registrar of the political party. I don't know if she's Joaquin, somebody in Dugu. I don't know the other name. Somebody Dugu. It said very clearly that, for example, the UDM belonged to Azimio, but now Wetangula rule otherwise. That are some of the things that you are facing. But as you are saying, somehow we need to follow the law, because whether you are in UDA or in Azimio, if a bad bill is brought in the assembly, you are voting it. We are voting for it, and it will somehow pinch the residents. Like for instance, now everyone in Kenya at the moment are crying due to high cost of living. Like for instance, today they have raised the fee for replacement of ID, burial permit, marriage permit. It will pinch everybody, irrespective of our political of your political alignment, whether you are in UDA or DM or whatever. But because the MPs belong to a certain field now, even if it will be taken to the assembly, provided the Ruto is supporting it or the president is supporting it, and he has the majority in both houses, bicameral houses, of course the bill will sail through. But even if the other side is bring the bill which is good or bad, because they are very few, it will not sail through.
Collins.
Yes.
Hauna huruma na mimi, yani you're not feeling sorry for me. You know how much I don't want to hear about that gazettement. I just saw something. I was on our group there, WhatsApp group. I was kabisa bwana, because how do you have a kid that is born outside the country off of two Kenyan parents, and they have to pay million Kenyan shillings to get their citizenship? See, these guys they're already citizens. They are born by two Kenyan parents, just not in Kenya. At $1 million. Kwani we are going to buy another kid. So that gazettement will circle back to that. Ebu acha kwanza we introduce Laban the fifth hapa hivi kidogo kidogo, and then I play one video and then we continue on. I mean, it's an open forum. Let's have a conversation about what. Yes.
Before you introduce him, you'll excuse me. I'm going to leave. There's something I'm doing. Then I'll come back later.
Okay, sawa. Anyway, this was just a discussion we have. Haraka. I think the other show will open up in a few. If not, I'll push this one for another maybe 30 minutes or 1 hour, depending on who's coming in and what we're gonna have a talk about. Thank you so much, Collins, and thank you for what that constitutional talk. I think everybody you've had, Collins. Part in short before you go and come back. Something you want to tell people today?
Okay, I just want to advise them that in the forthcoming in 2027, they should have scrutinize. They should scrutinize somebody, whether MCS, president, or senator, governor. They should not just succumb to false promises, because these people told us. To be sincere, although my vote is secret, but personally I voted for this government. But it's something that I am regretting, because this is a problem that I created myself by voting to this regime. I wish I heeded to Uhuru's call, because Uhuru told us that he knows his deputy more than anyone else. But because we are told that they are going to lower the cost of living, etc., we gave in. I think I did not take humble time to scrutinize the kind of regime that I'm going to vote for. But in the forthcoming election, it is better I vote for Jakoya other than doing the same mistake. Because I'm sorry, and I'm sorry to all Kenyans, because I was among the people actually who was advocating for advocating for Ruto to be the president. But now, in fact, I'm embarrassed at my workplace. I work in a hostel. I'm a nurse. I'm usually very silent when when they are discussing about politics, because they know me as a strong supporter of Ruto. But now I have nothing to say. Next time, I think we should scrutinize someone before we vote. Thank you. That is my submission.
I think your mic is off.
Thank you for that. Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, Collins was telling you, Arakisha, you come back. We tufunge pamoja. I like your submissions, and it's good to be sometimes to accept when you've done something wrong. And he's not alone. There's a lot that we talk. You know, you talk with people and they tell you, look, I did it, but I don't know. And it's good when we start talking so that people like Collins actually bring everyone that actually has been hiding there because of the embarrassment of, hey, I did this, ama nikitokea maybe watu wataniingilia, and they stick there. I know a lot of people who have reached out to me wakisema, wema tu nataka tuongee, but tukikuja mtaanza kutuingilia, mwanze kutucheka na nini. But no, mistakes are made, and we have to learn from those mistakes. So me, I always tell everybody, I mean, I have family members, and I tell them it's fine. I mean, mshafanya kitu yenye mnafanya. I mean, you just gotta, cause me, I like to ingilia watu. You just gonna live with me, ingilia in you, and sending you some brutally funny messages. But other than that, I mean, you're still a Kenyan. Yeah, thank you so much for people being here. Lala, I can see you. Asante sana. Nice to see you, sir. Asante, asante, asante. Kawira amepita nini Mwangaza. But before we do that, let me have Loban the Fifth ajaongea. Let me have him do an introductory. Where? Hey, Kikamba ilikuja na ama ni kizungu ndo ilienda na meli. Whatever. Introductory submission, and then Lala, you do an introductory submission, and then maybe we can have one or two about the impeachment, what you thought about it, if you followed, what you think, what are the misses and hits of that, and what is the constitutional implication of that. And then after that, there's one of our Secretary General here, Tunei Mohammed. Due to public demand, she wants me to play a certain video, but I want us to first of all circle out with your introductions, statements, and then we talk about the KAWIRA, and then maybe we can move to that video, because I'm afraid if I play that video right now, it will change the subject matter. So, Laban, the floor is yours for your introductory and whatever you want to say. And then I might just stand up a little bit. In case I stand up, you will just exchange. I won't be gone for long. I just need to pick up something from the other room. So, Laban, the floor is yours. Lala, good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you very much. My name's Guido Lord Boon the Fifth. Yeah, it is not Laban. It is Lord Boon.
Lord Boon. Hey, where is that from?
From Turkana.
Okay, na utatuambia kule oil mlipeleka kama tunaambiwa tuchimbe kisima na mtaki kuchimba na tulishapata oil huko.
Sasa si tuliambiwa kwamba yeye anataka kudeal na inaitwa refined energy, kwamba yeye anataka vitu kama solar, wind. He doesn't believe in oil, and the way unajua, hata mimi am part of those people wenye tumefall victim ya kuwa scammed kama Collins. Nowadays we don't even talk at work, tunanyamaza tu kwamba we're just letting things pass, because anything tunakuwa attack nazo.
Sawa, hiyo nitakuingilia baadaye. Do your opening remarks, alafu pia tuambie what you feel about, because tumetoka kucheza hiyo live feed ya KAWIRA na impeachment, so what it means to you na what you think na kila kitu tuchapie hapo, tuambie nyinyi mnafikiria aje upande.
So basically I'm in Kenya, in Nairobi, and I'm not really pleased with how we're heading, where you're heading to, because everything is becoming expensive by the day. Like when I say everything, I mean every single little thing, like sukari, mafuta. Sasa wameingia mpaka kwa death certificate. Saizi wamepandisha mpaka bei, like everything. So I'm a little bit disappointed with this government, and I'm also disappointed in terms of communication. Unapata kwamba ni serikali yenye these people are talking on this side, the other people are talking on the other side. There is no official centralized communication. Like we know we have an office for the spokesman, government spokesperson, but ni kama tu ni mtu amekuwa pale tu alipwe mshahara bure bila knowing what they need to do, because there should be a centralized medium of communication such that when something comes out from the government, it's official, it is reliable, it has been verified. You see now things like the El Nino, we actually thought that El Nino is not coming. People went back, sorry, excuse me. People went back to their houses, people went back to their businesses. We ignored all the first warnings because we knew, at the end of the day, it's just heavy rains. We're used to heavy rains, not El Nino. But you have seen that these rains have been sweeping houses, they've been sweeping people, their businesses, vehicles, cutting roads, sweeping bridges. I mean, we can't have a government where, like a meteorological department, a whole of it, give us a warning, and then the president stands and says that the El Nino is not coming, and then the El Nino comes. Like, these people are supposed to advise the president before he speaks. Now you wonder, is this a kangaroo government? Or is it, are we being run like a village or somebody's house, whereby you just come from your bedroom and decide and walk into the sitting room and decide as from today, the TV will be switched off at 9 p.m. and that's it. Nobody says anything. There is no consultation. There is no, you're not yielding advice from people. I'm a little disappointed because all these things, and the way I had faith in this government, like I've been supporting them, I've been defending them, but right now, enough is enough. The other thing now, the KAWIRA thing, thank God it has gone the way I wanted, but there's also a problem because now KAWIRA is back, but what next? I come from a neighboring county of Isiolo. It is just next to Meru. It's like 40 minutes to Meru. And to be honest with you, I've lived with these people. I've lived with Marians for a very long time, and I know their characters. I know how they usually behave. I am a little bit skeptical about how KAWIRA will be able to run the government, especially because I know many men are full of pride. So I don't know what she's gonna do to bring them back on the table to discuss or even to listen to her, because I know apart from people saying that pastoralists, especially Turkana, Samburu, we usually view women as, we objectify women. I know for sure and for a fact that Marian men are on a whole another level from us. Like, it is very hard for them once they diminish you, that's it. So I'm a little bit curious to see how the governor is gonna work with them. Yeah, I think that covers almost everything for me.
Thank you, thank you. That's a great opening remark. Stay here with us. Before I bring Lala, so for you, you feel there's gonna, I mean, the problem is far from over. There's gonna be eye watching. Okay, he's gone. But if he wants to come back, anybody that wants to come in, tafadhali, we won't be here long today. Tafadhali kama mnaweza kuja, we have this conversation, the KAWIRA, and then whatever else. This is your open forum, sound candid talk. Lala, so Mr. Laboon, things it's not over yet. There's still gonna be Mzozano in there, and I know you deal with people and characters, you know, in your line of work. What do you think? Your opening remark, we're talking about Kawira. She survived 7 charges. I thought, and the speaker had said, if she even just gets convicted on one, she's out. At that point, for me, I thought that was a setup to where just one takes her out. I thought because there are 7, it should be an aggregate of if she gets 3 and 2 and something like that. So one could have gotten her out, but she sailed through on all. Your view?
Thanks, Marto. It's good to see you and Laban. Is it Laban? I think he's left, and plus others in the back. Let me just comment on Kawira's trial before the Senate. To me, I think Senate was on trial and Kawira were all on trial. If they had convicted Kawira, I think Senate itself would have been under very, I would call it a lot of scrutiny, and you're going to put a very bad precedents in the future of Senate itself. Because there's been a feeling, and especially this particular case, I listened to some of the arguments, and listening to those facts that were coming out of those debates is clearly was almost like a witch hunt in terms of could it come to that level, you know, to present a case like that. It made the people who brought the cases look really, really petty, having hidden agenda, and going against actually the Constitution, which gives the people the power to elect their leaders. So it's almost like we don't care whether you win an election, we can come and just get rid of you with anything, any small little thing. Because it was really embarrassing for I didn't listen to everything, but the debate itself left everything so clear where the problem was coming from. And so before one can bring a case like this, let them do a better homework and present a credible, a more coherent argument. It's like the devil is accusing the devil. That's what it felt like, you know, watching them. So I think the Senate saved itself by letting go, you know, because nowhere on earth she could have been convicted anywhere. Any real credible impeachment, you know, it was just a joke, a big joke, the kind of argument they brought in. And of course, the legal team, Kawira's team, did an excellent work. So I was proud of the whole process. So the little that I listened to, I thought that team did a very good job. And now the question is, how is Kawira going to make it? I think if I was her advisor, right now, the first person who should consult is Kivutha Kibwana. Let her get Kivutha Kibwana, professor, in that in her county as soon as possible, because it was the impeachment or the rebel, you know, that wanted to overthrow him, that it took them head on and changed the county. So Meru has an opportunity here. It's a crisis, yes, but they have a chance to for danger, also, and a chance to make it better. She had a very reconciliatory tone. I don't know the person, I don't know Kawira, but I think if she can get good people around her and get a team that can work with her. There are people that are there. They were there simply because they are being pushed to go after her because she's a woman. Okay? And some of them will not do that again. And they've learned their lesson. They won't do it. So if you can't do it, then join them. That's why somebody like Kiwana can really help the team because everybody wants to save their face. Okay? That's a nature of politics or any business. Okay? So not everybody will be fighting her because fighting her will not work. A lot of them may want to join her, and others will have other motives. So that's why when you get a good team of people, you isolate the ones that you don't need and bring the others. Sometimes it's better to fight with people who have been anti-you, because if they are really baptized on your side, they do a very good job. So she has opportunity. The danger is still there, but depending on how she approach leadership, the kind of people she bring around herself, if she's learning, because this should be a teachable moment for her and her team. So they can't do things the way they have done it before. They have to change. And that will be a win-win situation for everybody. That's where I look at it. She has the chance, but the danger is there for them to just create more chaos. But then how will that help them? Because I think my sense is that KAWIRA really has the people. From what I think the Meruans are with him. It's just the elite, the men and the others are the ones who don't like her there. But seems as if a lot of people are with her. And so with her setting this tone, reconciliatory tone, I think that can help her to be able to weather the storm. And so, but I'm happy with the decision today. So that's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lala. It's true what you're saying, and I agree with it. KAWIRA came in as an independent. She's actually for the people who don't know, she was more of UDA inclined a little bit, but you can see what people are thinking now, and I think that's a reflection of the society today. That you find an Azimio Damu like me, you know, still saying, okay, yeah, that's the right decision, you know, because we are not here to be politically and all that, even though we're here to have our country have a sense. If something is done and it's right, it's right.
But right. You know what? Azimio can be the beneficiary because that's an in-house fighting. You know, we know very well where they are. And with the way things, the dynamics, you know, of events, political landscape, you just can't stay at the same spot, you know. So I think Meru is also changing quite a bit. And so the way they thought they would get her, I don't think they're getting her. And I think if she's learning, and that's why she has to be a good student, because she was independent. We don't know who, you know, I don't know how she does her things, but she has the opportunity to be able to basically consolidate power around herself. In short, she can be very powerful if she knows her game well. She can do it very, very well and become very, very powerful, especially if she can be successful in terms of governing. Yeah.
And I also think it was a very good monumental, and it came at the right time, ruling, because when you look at the votes, the way they were going, there was no partisan. It was all bipartisan. I mean, I saw 3 to 45. You know, that's both Azimio and, you know, so if...
You know, politics, before the vote, they started playing politics, that Ruto was going to save her. It's as if this is because of Ruto. You see, did you see that? There was some kind of people, you know, playing our mind. But the thing was quite, as you stated, you know, there's no one party that was the winner here. I think it's KAWIRA who won.
Yeah, and also our constitution and people thinking,
yeah.
and yes, and also where we are as our country. If I believe, no, there's a lot of things, propagandas of Rigiji was behind it, Ruto was behind other things and whatever. But the thing that what the Senate showed today, it was like, we don't care. Which is where the country is too. That's why we just had two speakers here right now. Talk about what? I voted on the other side, but right now I'm not there anymore, So that is what is showing you. The Senate is telling you everything has changed. Now it's not TSD being whipped and whatever. No, we're just gonna vote what we feel is right, because you cannot bring a mediocre case here and then you want to over what? What has she done? You cannot even answer. By the way, I've heard you lately. You've been learning Swahili very well. You like speaking Swahili. Ni venye nani yuko hapa. The Swahili guy. Let me ask you.
Sema.
How do you say kuagiza in Swahili?
Kuagiza?
Yes, in Swahili.
Sinigiza tu.
Ni kuagiza tu.
Ni kuagiza ndio.
I had a lawyer that made the whole Senate laugh. Yes, and he was very serious. How do you say kuagiza in Swahili? The guy said kuagiza. The whole Senate went to laugh. So you come, you want to shame someone, but I like it. I hope she doesn't go back there, and I hope she respects her people whenever she goes back to her county. And we also learn about these countries. Now, we are not saying that no governor should be impeached. I believe everybody is impeachable if you are a public servant.
But the key thing is, let me use the word which I don't want to use, unless she's an idiot. She must take the cue and use this as a teachable moment and bring people like Kivutha Kibwana, if she's hearing me, to come in and help her navigate out of this. Because Kivutha was almost in the same situation, okay? Almost getting rid of him. He transformed the whole scenario and created the best county in the nation in terms of development, okay? So yes, he can, she can be able to make those changes, because parties are just people use them to get in, and when they are there, unless there is a Ruto or Raila, whatever, they do their own thing. We know how Kenya is. So she got the opportunity to be able to do that. And the goodwill that everybody voted for her, even the Senate, that shows that they're giving her a chance to do that. And
yeah. It's coming. Everything that the ground is talking is starting to get up there, and people do not understand that. And to prove to you that, who's this? Hold it, just housekeeping, just Nakamoja, my senior. Shima Hussein, it's been a long time. Yes, that's coming. And it's what I'm about to bring. Tulikuwa tunataka kwanza kumaliza ya Kawira, so that we can relate both sides of what we are talking with me, Lala, and whoever else wants to come in. So Lala, there's a video I want to play here.
Okay.
But I want you to relate with the bipartisan thing that you've been seeing happening with, let's start with the citizenry. For now, just take your calculation. You've seen two of us, me and you, we are Azimio Damu. You've seen other two people here come in and say, well, mimi nilicheza ile side ingine lakini you see, people are starting to understand themselves, understand that we have a Kenya. Now we also have the Senate that also is starting to kind of prove that, okay, now we have to talk a different kind of talk, we cannot have this. I mean, we cannot stand into a place where it's bipartisan. I was wondering until Tunei sent me this video. I was wondering in the morning, because before they started the Kawira thing, they were talking about this guy. Let me just play the video. It's self-explanatory, I believe, and then we'll talk about it. Now, where did it go? Hold on just a second, just a second. All right, Lala, just react to that as I get this video ready. I don't want to play the wrong thing. I think I got it. Okay, hold on. Sorry, sometimes dealing with these things, yeah, you have multiple screens and you don't know which one is which. Kama kujitayarisha mapema. I thought I had it. But here we go. This is the one I'm talking about.
After asking senators to stop the impeachment proceedings against Meru Governor KAWIRA MWANGAZA, Public Service Cabinet Secretary Moses Kuria is tonight under siege after asking senators to stop the impeachment proceedings against Meru Governor KAWIRA MWANGAZA, claiming there was no evidence to warrant her removal from office. Kuria, in a tweet addressed to 13 senators, asked the leaders to stop the debate as it was clear from the evidence they were being misled. Senators, led by Senate Majority Leader Aaron Cheriot, have called for his sacking, describing him as a national shame who lacks respect for the appointing authority and institutions in the country. The Cabinet Secretary has dismissed calls by senators to have him sacked or impeached over his utterances.
Public Service Cabinet Secretary Moses Kuria's social media posts on X, formerly Twitter, have landed him in trouble.
That tweet was in bad taste.
Kuria became the subject of debate in the Senate after posting twice on X in relation to the impeachment proceedings against Meru Governor KAWIRA MWANGAZA. In his first tweet at 8:21 p.m. on Tuesday, the Cabinet Secretary asked, and I quote, "Yani, at this age and time, a sane person can depend on the affidavit of one Celesio Mutuma Thuranira and hope to impeach a governor," end of quote. 31 minutes later, Kuria tweeted again, this time round urging 13 senators led by the majority leader to stop the impeachment process as it was clear from the evidence that they are being misled. The senators want President William Ruto to sack Kuria for embarrassing the government.
It is my submission, Mr. Speaker, that the earlier CS Moses Kuria is let off his duty, the better for this administration, Mr. Speaker. Because every single day, in every action that he undertakes, he continues to embarrass the president and the people. No wonder the people of Kiambu resoundingly rejected his bid to be their governor.
But Senator Cheriot, because you've got the ear of the president who's the appointing authority, let us not just complain in this house. Go and tell the boss that this guy is an embarrassment, not just to the government, but to the Republic of Kenya. He is an embarrassment to the entire East Africa. The deals he has done has made Kenya look like a pariah when it comes to issues of supply chain of oil and edible oil.
The senators have appealed to their colleagues in the National Assembly to take action against the Cabinet Secretary.
The other majority leader on the other house to actually start processing an impeachment motion to this CS. And Honorable Speaker, on these matters, Honorable Kajanga has put it, after this process is done, I would request that Moses Kuria is gone back to this house, is brought before us so that we can discipline him.
First, he came for the media. And when I brought a motion of censure for the media, some of you are saying, oh, Sifuna is in the habit of attacking this government. Now he has come for the Senate. Do something. Do something about this national shame, because it will continue unabated. That is who Moses Kuria is.
And an apologetic Kuria, who was the chief guest at the celebrations of the 10th anniversary of Huduma Kenya, defended his statements, saying he was a top performer.
Unaweza kunichukia kwa mambo ingine, lakini sio ya kufanya kazi. Wakati mwingine kabla sijaokoka nilikuwa naongea vibaya, lakini mimi saa hii nimeokoka, na hata ukinichukia kwa jina ingi, kwa mambo ingine yote, hauwezi kusema kunitoa lawama useme kwamba Moses Kuria kazi hawezi.
This is not the first time the Cabinet Secretary is in trouble. In June, Kuria was on the receiving end after attacking the media fraternity using foul language. Statements were condemned by the Media Council of Kenya and the Kenya Editors Guild. Kuria, who served as Trade and Investment Cabinet Secretary, would later in September raise a storm after he told off government critics over the rising cost of fuel prices.
Sasa ukishinda kutoka asubuhi mpaka jioni, bei ya mafuta imeongezeka, si uchimbe kisima yako.
A month later, in what was seen as a punishment, CS Kuria was moved from the prestigious Trade and Investment Ministry to the Public Service, Performance and Delivery Management. He is now at the center of a row with former political colleagues.
Lala.
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. You
Yes,
hear
we
me?
can hear you. Yes, we can hear you loud and clear, sir.
Yeah. I'm a little bit it's almost like when Kuria talks, I don't know even how to respond because he is on one level, shows the worst, guy who doesn't really care much. On the other hand, he sends messages that could be coded. At the same time, we kind of, it's almost like what's going on in Uda when you listen to him, because he's one of those guys who don't know how to keep a secret. Something will come out, and if he disagrees, it's coming out. So in a sense, we need him, to kind of do what he's doing for us to know what's going on in that system, because it is the system that is rotten, and so they attract rotten people like him. So when you single him out, and then the question is, are you justifying the appointing authority? Are we also, is there a decoy to kind of make us look at one direction when something else going on in the other direction? Okay, so I'm a little bit challenged when it comes to interpreting, understanding, his politics and how he does his thing. But one thing I do know is that you can't ignore him. You got to listen to what he's saying, and he's saying certain things that will give a clue to what may be going on the other side. And so if there's somebody that Azimio need to understand what's going on the other side, they need that man. I don't think they should fire him. I think it shows us the rot in the system. And so that's my interpretation of him. Fired, and who's going to be appointed there anyway? They're all rotten guys. So I see him as part of the rot, but it's a better rot that we can be able to use to study and understand what's going on the other side. That's my interpretation.
The funny thing is that I agree with you 100%. you ever seen in your house when you have a very old clothes that is so messed up you don't even wear it?
Mm-hmm.
But you can get rid of it because it kind of reminds you of where you come from.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It has a value in it.
A great value. It reminds you of a child. A child, the mother says, when the visitors leave, then we can have a meal. And then the child says, my mother said, when you leave, then we're going to eat. Spill the beans.
You're like, wait, who said that? What? You're very right. We need him. We need people like that who can actually sometimes come up. It's the truth. I mean, sometimes is off the hook. It's just Kuria, whatever.
Yeah.
And it, like you said very well, he tells us what exactly is happening in the river.
That's right.
Now they want to impeach him. Who's gonna be our snitch?
That's it. They might bring somebody who is, sly and too introverted, and we don't know what's going on. We need Kuria. an extrovert, able to see everything going on, to smoke and follow the trail. Yeah.
That's a good analogy about that. Yani, I watched it, I was like, okay, the guy is right.
That's right. Yeah, we need him.
Yes, I might want to beat him, but now, I mean, ameongea ukweli. Now what do I do?
Yeah, we can beat him and send him back. We don't take him out. Go back in there, beat him and send him back. You know, in the Bible, if you read the Old Testament, the Ark of the Covenant was made in a way that inside the Holy of Holies, that was the central place where the Ark, where the Moses tablets, the laws were, no one was allowed to get in there except for the high priest once a year. And before the guy could go in there, they had to be sanctified. You know, they had no sin, because you go in there with sin, you're gonna be dead. But what they would do is while is on the inside, they would tie a bell and a rope, on his leg. The rope stays outside. So as long as you hear the bell ringing, you know the guy is moving around inside the Ark of the Covenant. When the bell stops, you know the guy probably is dead. So the only way you can get him out is to pull him out through that string. How to get him out of the the Holy of Holies. And you know what? Moses Kuria is our string. As long as he's there, we can know the bell. Something is going on the inside. Yeah.
You're 100%. I tried to judge him on that, and I was just like, okay, I didn't even on our groups there, I didn't even comment about it, because for me, I thought, okay, the guy just said the truth. Okay.
He said the truth, and it may serve a better purpose than our people, because our people are not talking about the real issue. They're talking about these other side shows. Okay. They are not talking about opening of the server. They're talking about those key issues. They're more into other things. But you know what? If people like Kuria is there, then the core issues gotta be coming back, and people more into looking at what is really the problem here. Because it's easy to kind of change the discussion and the debate to those non-issues, but someone like Kuria will always make you angry enough to ask, what is this guy doing here? Why is Ruto allowing him in there? So we can always go back to the appointing authority. So let him stay there.
Yeah, let him stay there. I agree with you. Now, Lala, I want us, because anyways, I wasn't going to be here for long, but I want us to talk about the new gazettement. I don't know if you've seen it. I'm trying to expound it here so that...
Yeah, I saw it, yeah.
Yeah. There's a couple of things that people, and it's good that we always post these things, because people, I've come to realize, I was talking to someone today, and I asked them, and this is somebody in Kenya, even though wanatuambianga sisi wenye tuko huku nje hatujui kitu wenye tunaongea. But we really, our eyes are really open like this, we take much time. There's a couple of things, so I was hoping I could put it. Let me see if I can. But there's a couple of taxes that, everything is being. I'm trying to see if I can put the whole, share.
The child of an immigrant.
Where? Please. Yay! I don't want to hear. Let's start with the ID. I don't want to hear about the child. Let's start with the ideas. I'm looking for a good one to put on the screen. Yeah, let's start with the ID. What do you think about the ID?
I've not studied the whole thing. I just saw the money and the money. I saw these are just people are hungry for money. A government that's looking for money. What they're doing is nothing. It's just disgusting. That's where I look at it.
Okay, so for the ID, this is one for you. Maybe you can talk about that.
You see, you're talking of people that are really struggling. They can't buy basics. You know, and I always compare Kenyans to those people living in Gaza. You know, those are refugees in their own land. They have been there for many, many years. But I bet you look at the way they're dressed, the way they're healthy and all that, you compare to our own people, it's a shame. We are supposed to be free, but then you see our people, they take a train going to Mombasa, you see our people living in little huts. They're like birds. There's no difference between us and birds. It's sad, but that's how we live. Instead of improving our lives, you're still trying to take money from these poor people and lost ID. To me, it's unforgivable sin.
Can you see that? Or should I do a better job?
I can't see it, but
okay, let me do another. I think I've done a better job. Hold on, just let me put you on this one. So that we exhaust the ID before now we go to the serious stuff. Because I want you to walk me through this, and you're not walking me. We are walking people. People who do not even know there's a Gazette notice that has come out, being lied to, you know. That's why we always tell you guys, come to Sound Candid Talk. All right. So this is the Gazette notice 15/2/42, the Registration of Persons Act. When it started going viral, I started looking at it because I didn't see the whole thing until I went to the whole thing and started seeing something. So this is just the ID part. I know if you cannot read, let me just allow me to read for you. So it says to duplicate or replace your ID used to be 100 shillings. Now it's going to be going to 2,000.
2,000, yes, I saw that one, yeah.
If you were not previously registered, there was no cash, you were not supposed to pay anything, but now it's going to go to 1,000. Okay. For any identification reports, if you want to inquire anything on your report of your identification, it used to be 300, now it's going to 1,000. Civil servants card was 100, now it's going to 1,000. For staff badges, I don't even understand what a staff badge is. That's supposed to be, your employer is supposed to pay for all that. It's going from 350 to 1,000. When you look at this, I'm seeing a 10%, I mean 10%, 10%, 10%. Actually, not, yeah, not 100%.
Yeah, it's 100, it's from 10, you know, 100 shilling to 1,000, yeah.
And that is just that is your birthright of what your identification of what you need to have as a Kenyan. Talk about that first before I now bring you the citizenship. That is where the problem is. I saw that, I was like, well, no. You talk about that, Mr. Lala. You are a citizen. This is what it takes for you to get an ID. Do you ever pay an ID to, I mean, where you live when you go to the DMV?
No, they are free. Government ID. The only time you pay something is when you get a passport in the US.
Thank you.
That's
why? Because you've already paid the taxes.
Everything else is for free. Yes. You can also you pay something little for driver's license.
Yes.
Yeah.
For your pictures and everything. Which is just, I mean, nothing.
Yeah, which is, yeah, you get a job and all that stuff, you know, drive and, but the only two, passport and driver's ID. Otherwise, everything else, Social Security, all that, those are for free. Those are you are entitled to them. Yeah. You may pay $10 if you go to City Hall to get a copy of your birth certificate, you know, which if you happen to have lost it. No, I think some places in the county they pay like $3, something like $2, something like that. It's some minimum fee, that kind of thing. So the Kenyan one, you know, knowing where we are, what's going on, is too much. It's just too much. And these things are just coming. You know, the other thing is this government has very poor communication. They are poor communicators, you know. The job of a CS really is a PR person. It's a public he's supposed to, or she's supposed to communicate government policies to the people and break it down, prepare the people so that we can fully understand it. There are other technocrats within those departments that are more into the detail work, but the CS job is actually a PR to help us feel like their government's working for us and we understand what they are trying to do and we're prepared, we know what needs to be done. This government has very, very poor communication skills. They don't even care about what the people they're supposed to be serving, know. They just come up with things for us to do. All of a sudden, it's like they don't care. They don't care about what you feel or you think. They are not serving us. They are our masters. Because if they're serving us, they would want to listen to us and hear us before they make those policies. And when the government has to communicate with the people, it's terrible because they're hiding something from the people. And that's exactly what's happened here. And I let me say this: every single day, I've noticed there's always something that people didn't expect, didn't know, they're not prepared for. They simply come to implement it. You don't know where was it debated, they passed on, whatever, passed. So that's the way they do things, by decrees, and they don't communicate. Poor communication with the people. So we don't feel we belong to the nation, to the country. That's exactly what they're doing. Listen to this. My neighborhood, there is a Walmart. Used to be a golf course, but then because there was another public golf course, so they decided to give up that one. Do you know how many months and years we sat down to debate what would come on that land? Okay, the people, there were town hall meetings deciding what kind of business supposed to be there, who want to be there. In other words, the citizens were engaged, to kind of make sure that the right businesses come that will not, bankrupt the other businesses, that will not create degradation of our environment, that would not make our community, in terms of bringing wrong people like McDonald's and others, creating an unhealthy environment, business-wise, just physical, So we were part of it. The community were part of it. They explained to us. We had to hear from the federal government, the state government, the county government, all of them, before they came to that conclusion what need to be done there. Even though the land, they had the right to do certain things there, but the law and participation and communication and all of them got to be part of what democracy entails. So what we are doing now in Kenya is not democracy. Okay, what we are doing now is that dictatorial, to change laws and give us, we wake up in the morning, something had been gazetted, nobody knew. I think I'm educated enough to could have been told, let me know what's going on. They've already been gazetted. So it's almost been passed on. They passed a long time ago. So we are in a dictator government. This is a dictatorial government. So-called parliament and so-called judiciary and others have no power. The power comes from Ruto and the State House, and others just rubber stamp them. So you may think you've got a parliament, you got Senate, and no, they have no power. They're toothless because Ruto will do whatever he wants. You're going to pass it. It doesn't matter what you think, what you feel. No. So these laws look at this fees, and they don't even care about how the wananchi feel. Already we are burdened. Jobs are shrinking. We are not exporting anything, and then you're coming to fleece people who are already starving. And so for me, I will always go back to we the people, Kenyans. You are the problem, because you are not standing for your nation. You're waiting for somebody to do it for you. You're waiting for Baba and others when you yourself should do it. And my fraternity, the pastors, you shamed us. You shamed your nation, because this is the time when you should be rising up. You know, before I used to hear of Muganga all the time. We can't vote for this man. It's not a Christian. Do you know, they preach that. Have you repented? Have you asked God to forgive you? The way you attacked Raila, you know, Baba. All of a sudden now you're quiet, you know, saying nothing when actually people are being starved. You know, look at these taxes. And will they say anything? No. And then you want to be at the table, make decisions. You want to be part of all decision making when actually you're not contributing anything. I think we have a problem here. So these taxes, you're the ones should be out there, you know, rejecting them. These are just stealing from us. Okay, sorry, I would go on and on. Let me get you back to you, Mato. So I can go
No,
ranting.
Lala, it's just the two of us. But I wanna let me just present it here as I read it, so that people can see it. And in Lala, we're just the two of us, so just if anybody else can come in. So don't mute. Just let's look at this thing, because I have some questions. I'm looking at it from my other screen,
Yeah.
And it's kind of mind-boggling for me. Yeah. I didn't even know some things that I'm seeing here even existed. I hope you can see it on your screen,
It's a little tiny, but let's see here.
Okay,
yes, I see them. I see them. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go to some of them.
Yeah, I see it. No problem. I see.
Okay, what is extension of visa after 6 months? So it never used to be charged. Now it's 200. I don't know. Okay, so sanction fee for overstaying. So there's a charge for that now. There's referral visa that used to be, I guess, $10. Now it's 100. Visa for children for children of Kenyans. What do you mean by that? Visa for children of Kenyans. 200. Okay, alien card fee. Do we even have alien card fees or alien cards? That's like a green card, right?
Alien card, like a green card, yes.
Do we have one for Kenya?
Yeah, they have those, like Ugandans who used to be in Kenya. They used to have those ones.
Okay, so that has gone from 2,000 to 10,000. Electronic travel authorization. What is electronic travel authorization?
When you're at the airport and your information is not quickly enough, then they can work something out for you at the airport. Yeah.
At the penalty for failure to renew the alien card for each year defaulted, 10,000. Mama, weka mkono. Diplomatic 50 pages passport, gone from, I don't even care about this one, but gone, that's double. Cool, good for them. Ordinary 34 pages gone, from 4,000 to 7. Ordinary 50 pages, 6 to 9. Ordinary 66 pages, 7 to 12. Temporary permit, okay, that stays the same. Certificate of, what is that? I can see, but that stays the same. I'm not worried about those ones. Now let's go here. Replacement of a lost passport from 12,000 to 20,000. Key 2. Replacement of a valid, what is this? ID something, passport. 10 to 20. Okay. Temporary passport. Kuna kwaga na kitu kama hiyo. So temporary passport was 3,000. At least the year imeenda 0. I don't even know what a temporary passport is.
I don't think it's 0. I think they just left it blank. So I don't know. They don't know yet.
They were not sure how much to take it.
Yeah, you go there, they'll give you the price there. I'm telling you, it's not gonna be free. You're probably gonna pay more for it when it's open like that.
That's a walk-in price.
That's right.
Emergency travel documents stays the
Yeah.
same. Expose passport, work permit. Okay. Now this is the area. This other side is where. Wacha kwanza nimalizane na hii hapa chini, because hapo juu kuna maneno mbaya. Okay. Yeah, go ahead, sir. If you want to interject.
Wanataka foreign exchange hawana, sasa wanataka kuninio wale wanakuja Kenya, lakini watu wanatoroka tu.
Okay, certificate of current birth. Yeah? Current birth, kwani was supposed to be expired. Anyway, 50 to 100.
Really?
Certificate of current death. Where? 50 to 200. Late resignation of birth certificate. Sasa hii imeenda kuguza watu ushagonyi when the ones that give birth at home. 150 to 500. Late registration of death. The same. Registration of death. 90 to 1,000. Mtu wenye wakikufa, please weka ngiri moja hapo. Foreign registration of birth in our mission abroad. What does that even mean? Foreign registration of birth in our mission.
Ukipata mtoto huko nje, alafu una register kama Mkenya, unalipa hiyo.
In our mission. What does that mean? What mission?
I mean, mission, the embassies outside.
So if you're working for the embassy?
I think it's everybody.
All right, foreign death by
but I don't know what they mean by that, actually.
Yeah, verification of certificate for private Kenyan agencies.
Oh, maybe those are mission workers. Maybe those are mission. I don't know. The way it's written doesn't make sense.
Exactly. Verification of certificate for private foreign agencies, 100. I don't know what they're talking about. Verification of certificate for government of Kenya agencies, 500. Oh, na easy jinga venye zinajiekea kidogo, 500. Okay. Amendments. Yes, amendments of both birth and death certificate from 130 to 1,000. Vital statistical reports for private agencies, 2,000. Vital statistical reports for government of Kenya, 1,000. Okay, wait, so private is 2,000.
When they talk of amendment is they are the ones who made the mistakes. It's not maybe an O for a U, whatever. They should not pay for their own mistakes.
And what is vital statistical report for private agents? I mean, what is vital statistical report?
Vital statistics is death, birth, death, whatever, all the things, you know.
But look at them here. Look at them here, because they know we are not going to look. Look at them. They say, especially for that one, they say vital statistical reports for private agencies was 0. It goes to 2,000. But vital, the same for the government of government of Kenya employees goes to 1,000. So they still get a 1,000 less than the normal mwananchi.
Yeah, mwananchi. Is it report for private agencies? Yeah.
Presumed death certificate, 150 to 1,500. Now, here comes the problem. Bear with me. It's just the two. I was saving this one for the last. This chat mimi imenichapa Mr. Lala.
Hey.
Here, citizenship. Regaining citizenship under Section 10 of our Constitution was 5,000. Now it's 50,000. Miguna out. Dual citizenship declaration was 0, 10,000. I didn't think we ever paid for being a dual citizen. Passport endorsement, 500 to 10,000. Reconciliation, I don't even know what that is. Citizenship by marriage was 30,000 now to 100,000. East African Community Partners partner state, 5,000 to 50,000. I thought Ruto alisema hivi watu watakuwa wakiingia for free. Anyway, sawa. Registration for citizenship for widows and widowers, 20,000 to 50,000. Citizenship by registration for lawful resident, 200 to 1 million. Wanga mkono bwana.
I've got 3 kids now. All of them will have to pay.
No, wait. Yako inakuja. Tulia. Citizenship by registration for lawful residents. So bibi yako wachana naye kama si Mkenya kule inakaa hiyo ni milioni 1. Citizenship by registration for children and dependents. 20K to 100K. Citizenship by registration for stateless persons. These are the refugees, right? 2,000 to 10,000. Citizenship by registration for migrants. I don't know. I guess that's the same thing that they're talking about, just repeating themselves. Citizenship by registration for descendants of stateless
population. It's like the people who are here from other countries and you have no state. Yeah.
Okay, let's come here. Permanent residents. Ex-citizens of Kenya processing, just the processing, 10 to 50,000. Lawful resident processing, 10 to 50,000. Ex-citizen of Kenya, issuance, that's just issuance, 50 to 100. Lawful, and you start with the lawful residents, issuance, 50 to 200. Children of Kenyan citizens born outside Kenya, are they not citizens? Hapo ndio sasa wami walinishikia na wakaniachia huko, sijasonga tena mimi. 1 million.
Umezaliwa kwingine, you are not citizen.
Mama yako baba yako ni Mkenya, sasa walazima kulipia 1 million.
Kama unalipa 1 million ya
si wewe ni Mkenya?
Si ndio?
Ama acha tumalize tu hapo. Mimi hapo ndio mimi nilibakia, hata sikumaliza hizo zingine. Spouses of Kenyan citizens, those are my spouses. Yes, 5 to 50K.
Mtu wangu anatoka Uganda.
Kwanza unalipa ya bibi na unalipa pia ya watoto.
Nalipa watoto. They are born here in the US, from Uganda. Now Ruto, these people are there to wanachota.
Wait, what is a single journey visa and a multiple journey visa?
You see, they give 2 types of visa. The single entry, it's like you enter and that it ends. Then there's a multiple where you can go back, like you come from the US, come to Kenya, then you go to Uganda, then come back to Kenya. If you are only single, then when you try to come back, you pay for it again. So you pay a little bit more when you have multiple.
Mimi silipi mtoto wangu 1 million and a vasectomy. Huwa pili asipate. How do you pay 1 million and the kid is a Kenyan citizen by the virtue of the parents?
And that's what I'm saying. I don't know that people have got brain. When these policy makers, this government has got brain. Because first of all, Kenyans have been really investing in Kenya. That's why they get a lot from us, in the diaspora. Investing because of the lacks. We are not in those Nyayo era when you were not allowed even to handle in the foreign exchange. Now we could do businesses, deposit, and people are investing. And that's what's actually kept the government for the last 20 years. It's really, some of us that have been bringing money home. And we are the ones that actually have, through our friends, we build those relationships that is bringing in foreign investment, even into the counties and the capital. So for you to do this to a Kenyan, imagine, Mato, you come to Nairobi with, I can travel sometime with foreigners, Americans and others, those who are looking at Kenya, they want to, other tourists or want to do a business. And then you come to the airport and they start opening your luggage, a place where you're supposed to be the man, this is my country, I'm come from the US, we haven't respected. And they disrespect you right there, your own people at the airport? Do you think the people will be able to invest in that country? Okay, they are supposed to be treating us as the ambassadors outside here to kind of help them. But what they're doing to us is they're looking at us as cash cows, making decisions, that don't even make sense. So it's like they're doing exactly the opposite. That's why this government, has lost it, completely lost direction. And always my feud with our people is very simple. Our constitution was written to stop such acts, and it is in the constitution. If things are bad, you can make changes anytime. In Europe, parliamentary system, government fall every time. Presidential system, we have impeachment. We can say recall, because constitutional democracy require that we fulfill the contract. And the contract is we're giving you 5 years. These are the things that we allowed you told us you're going to do. And this is how you got into power. And we are holding you accountable to that. But when we know very well this man did not win, okay? So already the contract has been broken. Secondly, taxes and the economy is going south. So the question is, where's the contract? What does it mean to be in power for 5 years? What are we looking forward to? It's weird and it is strange. It feels like a story I once heard of a guy who had a house, and he wanted to sell his house, so he got a buyer, a young man who needed a house. And so they agreed on the price, but the old man had a particular liking for one particular spot in the house where he used to hang the picture of his mother. Okay, so he said, "No, I'm selling you this house, but please, this nail, don't move it. Don't move it. Let me just hang something here. When I come to visit you, I can look at it to remember this home. But everything is yours." And the young man foolishly agreed to that contract. And so every year, the old man would come and the deal was that he could not touch anything on that nail, because that nail is so spiritual to the man. And so he would come, and the old man would come and put rotten meat. And so the house is smelling, but the young man could not touch it. After 2 years, the young man was ready to sell the house. And the old man got his house back because the young man could not stomach the place. It feels like that we have been duped as we the people. We were told that we own the constitution. We don't. Ruto owns it. We were told that these are the contracts that we have to live by. These are things that we don't need to be done. And the economy is going up. And after 100 days, I don't know, a number of things should have happened. We were told that life would be a little bit better, much easier than the previous one. And it is almost the opposite. And secondly, our constitution gave us a prescription on how to make somebody a president. If I'm a Kenyan, I tell you I'm a Kenyan. After becoming a president, we discovered that Abel was not born in Kenya. Abel was born in Uganda. What do you do with me? Do you say, no, we can't recall Abel because we already elected him? Or do we say that the contract was faulty? This man cannot be the president. Because if you allow me to be one, how will you not allow somebody else in the future who pretends to be a Kenyan and become the president? Will you take him out when you already made a precedent that you let me continue on? Ruto is let go when it is known. We know exactly what happened then how will you come back and save your nation? How will Kenya survive past Ruto if we don't get rid of him before this 5 years? So they think that we are beating ourselves. You know, it's that old man. Old man knew that young man, you know, didn't understand the intricacy of a contract. And most of us are in that place. And so when I hear debate by our senators and others being very comfortable with the status quo, trying to defend even things that should not be defended, I think we still have to go back to the contract itself. What does the Constitution say? That's the only way we're going to save our nation. I'm a man of God, and I can tell you, you know, that sin will find you out. Your sin will find you out. And to me, Ruto has committed what I would call the original sin. This is the original sin. And the country will not survive with it. I cannot promise you, because out of this act, you will not be able to correct the problem in the future. So those who are waiting for 2027, you know that you're going to live with a rotten meat in the house. And it has to be exercised. And we are the only one who can do it. If we do the right way, that will save us. Just like what the Senate did today. They decided, no, we can't get rid of this woman because this does not meet the standard for, what this impeachment was, set for. I mean, what it's all about. We don't do things because it is politically, beneficial to somebody else. It's about the Constitution. If it's about the Constitution, then we have to correct the Ruto election. And it's we, the people, to be able to come together and say, server must be open, and not tomorrow, not next year, now. Because another precedent can be made here. If you open it in a year from now, then somebody else will do the same thing next time and just wait on till, okay, just use the same techniques that the other person used. And so we end up having a country that's almost ungovernable, where we can't know how to, the Constitution does not work. The law has to be Constitution, and the law got to be swift. They got to cut across everything, everywhere, okay? It has to just work. The law has to work, or else you listening to me out there, you don't have a future. There's no economy that will thrive without laws, okay? Even when Somalia was its highest, worst time, you had to have a warlord. And the warlord had to guarantee you that they're going to create some kind of a structure. They're going to protect you so that you can do business. Okay? We knew companies like Visa and others were operating in Somalia, but they had to hire warlords, security, to create some form of security for them to operate. So Kenya, we are not an island. We are not. So we must get it right, or else we may as well dismantle the country and people go their own way. But the Constitution has to be protected, and it's you listening to me that can do it. Not these people that you think will do it. They won't do it. They are interested in their own little territories. Wanajipenda, wanataka tu kujenga yao. Okay? People, tunasema, they are full of themselves. It's about what they want, kile ambacho kinawapendeza, lakini si nchi nzima. Sasa kama tunataka kuwa Wakenya kamili kwa kweli, wataka maendeleo, lazima tuangalie hali ya constitution yetu vile imechukuliwa na wengine wetu ambao wanatunyanyasa na tuko tabani na tabu bado mjaona. Without it, vita iko mbele. Dismantling of a nation, no investment, no future. God has been good to us up to this moment. Let us not let our eyes leave the price. Kenya is worth saving, and you and I can do it. Wacha nirudi kwa Mato. Endelea Mato.
Thank you, Lala. Thank you, everyone. Lala, before I put mine, there's somebody here who will send me a message, a very funny one. Amesema kesho naenda ku-apply death certificate yangu because by the time tunakufa zitakuwa zimefika 1 million. So for them, they wacha wanaenda ku-apply death certificate yake sahizi kabla zifike 1 million. No, Bernard, Bernard, Mr. Lala, yeah, thank you guys, everybody else.
Wajua mara watu wakifa nyumbani tunafanya mchango. Sasa watu walikuwa wanachangia nini death certificate kwanza? Hey.
Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us here. We are now closing up. This is going to be my last submission, and then I let Lala give us a last submission as we close. Asanteni sana kila mtu ambaye amekuja hapa. Let me, before I read this, before I say, before I read the comments for the people who are out there with us, and then Lala give you your closing remark. I need people to start looking at their constitution, like I keep on saying. I'm going to give people a challenge to go read the Kenya Citizenship Act, Cap 170. That was not even meant, 1963, that was not even meant for Kenyans, it was meant for immigrants. It's good that this gazetteman came, because I bet you these 500s that you're seeing were not being paid. I mean, I know they were not being paid, but it's good that they're coming because some of the things that they're doing there, they're completely against the Constitution of Kenya. A Kenyan citizen is a Kenyan citizen. You cannot be told to pay anything for your citizenship. It's your right, according to the Constitution. But you see, Lala, the problem that is hitting most of the governments today, especially the third world, is so, like, Trump said, is because without media houses like this or the social media, that gazettement would have been published and nobody would have known it. Right now there's people now talking about the gazettement. That's why they wanted to shut down these media, places like us and WhatsApp and TikTok. Because guys are learning from these things that there's something like that came in. Did you see it in the news? No. Because they do those things in the back. Without letting people don't even understand. Don't see it. And it's now that they're having a hard time because, first of all, they cannot regulate us. They've tried, we fight back, we try, we are not even using them. We get the information, we put it in, endo kapigana na Google, endo kapigana na Facebook, ukipigana nao wananieka na jibu, tumefanya nini mbaya. You see? But they can fight the mainstream media. So some of these things, this was done feature. Who came up with this thing? In the parliament, I mean, you just wake up and just gazette something like that. $1 million, $1 million shillings for a kid that is born of 2 parents of Kenya. It's ridiculous. That kid should not even pay anything. She's a Kenyan. She's a Kenyan. Charging me for what? I'm a Kenyan. You want to charge me to come to my own country? Born there. Where? Hiyo mchezo tutaacha. We will expose them. Share far and wide until it goes to the parliament. Again, watuambie how they are going to charge these things. Because we're not going to play with these guys. Ruto, no, we're not going to play with your government like that. We can't do that. As a citizen, I have a right, you have a right, anybody that is a citizen of Kenya has a right to marry, intermarry, whatever they want. shouldn't be charged for anything. Even coming home with these things that they're taking from the airport, where are they taking them? I remember one time I got into the SGR and I had a little perfume. I wish I had my perfume right here. Perfume, this big. Nilikuwa nimepita nao. France, JKI. I mean, with JKI, I think nilipita because your team hakuwa hivyo wenye wako sasa. Kitu kadogo hivi. Going to SGR nako ati wanataka kuchukua. I remember my sister just saying, kama watachukua chupa tupu. She went and sprayed everything akawapatia chupa tupu. Because these guys make money out of everything that they're taking from you in the name of, oh, this one cannot go in. They're making money out of it. Wengi wanaenda home na hizo vitu, those workers that you're seeing there, akiona kitu mzuri kwa mfuko wako na anajua uko na rako unaachwa na taxi. Bas, ama unaachwa na ndege. Nakwambia hii huwezi pita nayo ndio uache hapo. Yeye akishaenda wanacheka, we, ona hii. You see, is that corruption that we need to stop? But anyways, Mr. Lala, for me, I want to tell everybody, let me just read a couple of people that have been here before you give your closing remark, and then we'll be closing. Thank you guys for being here with us. We appreciate you. Asante sana. Hata mkiwa huko nyuma huwa tunawapenda tu hivyo. Esther Kabiru, thank you so much. Asante sana. Asili 2 TV kama kawa. Thank you. Caroline Atieno. No, God is faithful. Mwangaza. Oh yeah. Okay. BA090 970 ameniuliza. Mato, have you seen how much it will cost for you to bring your queen to Kenya? Sasa nimeanza kuogopa hata hiyo queen kimwangalia hivi ama wewe you're too expensive for me bwana. Yeah. I appreciate everybody. Nawashukuru sana. Tunei Mohammed kama kawa. Look for me. Mwari CK, asante sana. Anasema 100% is 100%. 100 so charge 1,000 for 100 of 100. 100% of 100 is 100. What? So charge 1,000 from 100 to hesabu yako imeniana. Anyway, sawa, acha niendelee. Nani wameandika na sound candy talk? There's somebody behind the scenes or something. Oh no, that was me. Okay, Mara, who else? Kama sijakutaja pole sana. Sami Kambui. Well, next thing they will tax is the blood donors. If you go to donate your blood, utakuwa unataxiwa. By the way, I believe sometimes itafika mahali ukikuja, if you're flying into Kenya, and as soon as you get into the airspace of Kenya, they tell you have to tax for oxygen. You're breathing the Kenyan oxygen, my friend. Mr. Lala, give us the last comments. Pray for us. And then tufungie hapo na tuseme tupatane siku nyingine inshallah. This has been Mato holding in for Bernard. We have to close and say we call it a day. Let's go think about what has happened and what is happening to Kenya. There's a lot coming in right, left, and center. Some of it is being hidden in between the pages, just like what we saw with the gazettement that was not supposed to be seen. Thank you, Mr. Nana.
Okay. Thank you, Mato. Thank you for what you do for all of us. We thank you for the sacrifice that you provide so that we can all get this information and also be able to connect with each other. Today, Baba was at Mau Mau Foundation, the launch of the Mau Mau Foundation. And I wish all Kenyans should have watched and listened to that group of Kenyans, because in that group represent the true spirit of Kenya. Mau Mau was not just about some native uprising, but Mau was a formidable force that was able to culminate into the independence, the withdrawal of the British from ruling Kenya, and Kenya became an independent country. And therefore, all of us Kenyans benefited from the fight that these people put out there for us to achieve what we have in our time. So thank you to all those heroes that gave so that you and I can be free, can debate, can disagree, can agree, can live anywhere in Kenya and be able to raise our kids and our families in a free environment. But we know that that freedom, that ideal they fought for is threatened by a government that doesn't really care about you and me. And so Candid Talk is a forum that allows Kenyans like you and me to bring our voices together to keep the spirit of Mau Mau alive, which is the freedom that we need for us. The Mau Mau Foundation is, first of all, is to build a memorial monument at the site in Nairobi and other places, and erect statue of Mau Mau heroes and heroine and those that struggled, to liberate Kenya. And so let us maintain their spirit, because we need the spirit of Mau Mau to help us get back our nation. This is sad because Mau Mau basically was the inspiration that led the African Americans in the US. It was the inspiration that they inspired Martin Luther King and others to fight. And it's the inspiration that was there for other liberation movements around the globe. And so it is important for us to know that Mau Mau is ours. We are the offspring of Mau Mau, and we should never let it die, the spirit of Mau Mau, to be truly free. And so as we close tonight, I challenge all of us, all of you, all of us to stand together spiritually, politically, ethnic-wise. Let us hold each other's hand, and let us stand with truth and justice. Let justice be our defender. So we'll pray that God will continue to bless us. Let's bow our heads. Heavenly Father, we thank you. We thank you for this day, Lord, for the time that you've spent here in the air. We ask your grace upon each one of us, Lord. You know those who are going through a tougher time than some of us, Lord. May your grace be there to lift them up, Lord. Remember us as a nation, my God. We shall not forget the spirit of Mau Mau, the spirit of freedom. But Lord, we shall stand for truth and justice, Lord. We pray against the powers of darkness that want to cover our nation. Lord, we shall remain the light because you called us to the light. This nation can be a shining example to other African nations in the world that is possible to stand on truth and win. Pray for our leaders that, Father, you guide them, Lord. Those who are for freedom, that, Father God, you lead Baba and the team and other leaders, Heavenly Father, that, Lord, they shall feel the strength and the warm love of Christ around them. Bless us and keep us. Make your face to shine upon us and be gracious to us. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And everyone say, Amen.
Amen, 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 Pastor Lala. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, just to give the final, because Bernard was Hindu Funganga, the poll. The poll today was, I think the poll that I found was the Senate fair in the voting to save Governor KAWIRA. 82% of you guys said yes, 18% said no. There's a kafani 7% that always lingers somewhere. I guess wameongezwa 11%. I don't know nani hao wameongezea, but that is just the Sound Candid Talk channel alone. I haven't looked at the other channels that we are airing. We want to say thank you most graciously. Thank you. You're lovely here, Lala, Mimi, na kila mtu mwenye ako kwa hii, we work together, and this is an open forum for those people who watch and think you cannot come to the station. You can always come to the station. It's free. Subscribe, nini, but you can always come to the station. Look at the comment section. We always put a link there that you can come in. It's free. You can come and air. Wherever you are, constitutionalist or whatever, we need to hear that, because Kenyans need to talk. As we always say here, if we don't talk, guess what we're going to do? We're going to start fighting. Mr. Lala, yes, sir.
I suggest that all of us listen to Baba's speech. Could you listen to Baba's speech for today at the Mau Mau? I think it's a good speech that should help us as a nation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Sound Candy Talk. This is where you come and actually have your conversation, which you cannot go to Citizen TV, neither can you go to the rest of the mainstream medias, but you can actually be felt and heard. We don't always have to listen to the people who can get their slots in those big TVs. This is a big TV. You come and you're heard internationally. We have people from all over the world listening to you. And every time you open your mouth out here, you're educating somebody else. Whether Koko Shago, please, we want to hear you. Tell us what is happening out there. Whether Uko Maju, please come in. Tell us what happens out there. Because at the end of the day, this channel is to combine us, unite us, and teach us all the different aspects of being a Kenyan, not just being a Kenyan, but being an African, not just being an African, but being somebody that is walking the realms of this world that we live in at this age. So I'm begging everybody, subscribe, invite, like, ingia. If you feel you have to say something, please fill that screen. It doesn't have to be me and Lala. You can come in. Kama unataka kuja bila nini, bila screen, bila kuonekana, kuna wengi wanafanyanga hivyo. Just request, hey, I'm not comfortable at this point. We'll decide. Because kuna wengine pia wanakuja kama wameficha alafu wanatuharibia channel, wanakuja kuweka vitu zingine. Some things that have happened here that has made us almost get shut down. So we are very careful with that. But this is an open forum. Sound Candid Talk is just what it says. Sound Candid Talk. Asanteni, Mungu abariki kule mlipo. Lala salama. Kila mtu alale salama ambao wanatusikiza na wenye watatusikiza baadaye. This has been your host. Guess who? Kenya with love. Tuonane baadaye.
Tunaingia vijijini, mijini na hata jijini kukuletea taarifa mchana kutwa. Usiku tunaketi kitako, tunadadavua tukichanganua taarifa na makala muhimu yanayokuhusu wewe na familia yako. Ungana na Bernard Ngozi kwenye Open Forum Political Show kuanzia saa 4 usiku hadi dakika zake kila siku ya wiki kwenye Sound Candid Talk. Tukutane Sound Candid Talk.
Sisi vile vile sio wote ambao wanataka ugomvi kwa sababu ya ugomvi.
Niwaambia nyinyi ni wajinga mkimpata Ruto. Mkadhani tunawadanganya.
Jeti ya Ruto. Hii maisha ya Ruto ni stress na ni stress.
Mungu wewe umetukosea.
Sasa tumesema siku ya Jumatano. Uko tayari? Uko tayari? Tumesema
munataka kurudi kwa moto ama munataka kuokoka? Munataka kuokoka? Njia ya kuokoka ni Baba. Nawaambia.
Mlikataa Raila. Raila alikuwa mtu wa kwanza kulilia watu. Raila ndio mwenye kuongoza hii nchi, mpende.
Muniache niunge Raila kwa amani. Na mimi naambia nyinyi watu wa Azimio, hapa Rift Valley tuko pamoja, petition ile ya pesa 8. Dawa ya hii Kenya ni kusupport Raila Amolo Odinga 100%.
Raila, tega sikio, tuko nawe hadi mwisho. Tuungane tuondoe Ruto, serikali feki ya uongo. Baba regesha maandamano, hawa mafisi tuwaone kando. Ruto ainue mkono, Gachagua afunge mdomo.
Baba tapika maandamano. Baba tapika maandamano.